This is the Date Night Dice Podcast, a podcast mostly about board games.
Probably not.
Hello, and welcome to episode 33 of the Date Night Dice Podcast. I'm Ben.
I'm Em.
And finally back with us after a bonus episode where we were missing him unbelievably. Welcome, Ken.
How's it going? Happy to be back. Glad that the natural order of things is restored.
I don't know how to answer the question, how's it going?
It's not going well over here.
You knew last week. You were very happy to answer a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
how's it
right?
going? You were going great.
It was
How is
great.
it going now?
Not so great. If anybody is watching this on YouTube, they'll notice that Emily is sitting in a wheelchair.
Maybe you can tell. It kind of just looks like a weird chair.
So this just happened today. Care to explain to us, Emily?
Do a quick little spin for us.
What happened?
Prove it's a wheelchair.
Take us on a ride.
Don't do that.
And then
Don't
all
do
the
Right.
equipment like follows me off. And I do a little. That was the
Yep.
first thing Ben did when we got the wheelchair here. Was he did the brick house wheelie?
Of course.
Sick tricks.
Yeah.
That wasn't even my idea. As soon as I told somebody you were going to be in a wheelchair, they were like, "Oh, you can do a wheelie?"
Who?
Nick from work.
What?
Immediately? That's
that's
someone's
the first thing he said.
That's weird.
It was great.
Wow.
He said you're going to have to teach her how to do a wheelie.
Yeah, like
Which
I'm
was-
going to try that right now.
Which was funny because, like, why would he assume that I knew how to do a wheelie?
Yeah, what? He's like, oh, you.
Yeah,
I do know how to do a wheelie, but
You
why
look
did
like
he?
a
Why was
guy.
he so certain that I knew this?
Maybe you've been
I
showing
expect
off.
I expect that kind of question from like people we went to school with because we did wheelchair wheelies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
that's what
I
I
know
thought you were
know
going
how
to say.
to do them.
I mean that was
So
my
a
favorite
coworker-
thing. Right?
That's bizarre.
How does he know?
That's just the kind of like vibe you give off.
You
It's-
put off a wheelchair wheelie. vibe.
Wheelie.
I could see that actually. I could see that I put off a wheelchair wheelie vibe.
That's weird.
That's definitely
It's really
me.
weird. We need
This
to
guy's
find
a
that.
wheelie guy.
that
I bet
picture.
this. It's not even specific to wheelchairs. I don't think. You just put off a wheelie vibe.
yeah,
This
right.
guy will do wheelies, heelies, whatever.
The only
Do you have
guy I know
heelies?
who puts off more of a wheelie vibe than me is probably Seth. He puts
yeah.
off a wheelie vibe
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
a wheelie vibe.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So what happened?
So I took Potato for a hike like I do every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I met up with two other people that walked their dogs. So we had 3 dogs and we're just walking around on the trails at City Forest. And Potato and then like her best friend Luca, which is this big like poodle dog, were chasing each other. And we were just walking down the path and I looked up and Potato was coming full force at my knees. And it was like when I looked up is when she just smashed into my knee. And then flipped my entire, like I did the like, as if I'm laying in the air, like whole body, and
Oh,
then
man.
smashed onto the ground. And that's when I heard a big snap. Still don't know if that was just my body hitting the ground or that's when, shit went crazy. But I laid there for a while because I honestly could not get up and I couldn't feel my legs. And then I finally walked back to the car.
How far back
Oh
to the
my
car was
gosh.
it?
It was probably like between 1/4 or half a mile. The walk back wasn't that bad, but when I first took my first couple steps, it felt like I was missing bones. Like my leg was really like wobbly, like as if someone's like, I replaced some bones with Jello. Like I've never felt my leg
I
move
replaced
like
your
this.
knee with a loose ball joint,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna
And
swing underneath you.
That's what it felt like, and I was like, uh-oh, as soon as I took the first 2 steps.
Well,
Oh my
everything
God.
you
Yeah.
described to me when you came back, everything you said, it felt loose and then it got tight when it got swollen. It was swelling along the side,
Yeah.
and it hurt like along that side. And I was like, oh, well, you probably tore or sprained your LCL along the outside of your knee. This is just me making stuff up, right? But I was like, oh, that's probably what happened. Like, you probably just need to rest, unless it's like a complete, like,
yeah.
rupture, where it's like completely torn. So eventually we were like, okay, let's go get it checked out, right? Like, let's just have the
Yeah.
peace of mind of like, yeah, it's just sprained. You just need to rest. It'll be
Right.
fine.
I'm not like 3 weeks in and it's like fixing itself in the wrong way.
Yeah. So,
God.
That's what, and they're like, uh-oh.
well, right, and then you at least know like what to expect. I always hate going in for a sprain, and they're like, nothing we can do. But,
Yeah.
But
at
then
the
you
same
know.
time, you're
Yeah.
like, well,
That's-
now I at
you're-
least know.
Yeah.
You're paying for the confidence to just sit around, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we went to the urgent care, and the doctor took a look at your knee, and based on where it was hurting, she was like, "Oh, I think you dislocated your kneecap, and your patellar
Whoa.
tendon is sore, and that's what it is." And I was like, "Oh, this is great! Like that's not so bad at all. Like
yeah,
it'll get better.
Like that was like, you just ice it for 2 weeks.
No big
Yeah.
deal." She's like, "Just in case, let's go get an X-ray." And then, as she said, as soon as you stood up and went to walk out of the office to go get the X-ray, she was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, she said she was like, I could tell it was worse at that point, but I didn't want to say anything yet, just in case.
Oh, man.
But
So we're all happy-go-lucky, go get an X-ray, whatever. I'm joking around with the nurses behind the like shielded wall
oh
with
my
the
God.
window.
I was like, please stop talking to them. I'm like in like painful positions. I want to be like, no chit chat. Let's get going.
Like, shut up, man. But I was like, oh no, your legs look great on those X-rays. Like those are like class A knees, like better. I couldn't be better.
Yeah. On the way home, you're like, those were some fine looking X-rays there.
Yeah, they're like. I bet my knees don't look like that in an X-ray. And like as soon as we got home, the doctor called. She's like, oh, you have it's a tibular plateau fracture.
Yeah.
It's the top of the tibula, essentially the bottom of
Okay.
the knee. The bone that meets the knee is
Yeah.
fractured on the top of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like broken all apart there.
That's a
Oh.
really weird place to break.
It is. And when I
Like,
looked it up to be like, what exactly is this? Because she like said all the words to me, and I'm like, yeah, sure,
Right.
of course I know.
okay, got it, Doc.
Yeah. So when I
You got
Googled
it.
it, then it was like, it's rare that someone does this. I'm like, of course it is.
Well, because what is it called? The fibula?
I think
Or
it's
the-
this one is there's the fibula and
Yeah.
the tibula. This was
This
a
was
tibular plateau fracture.
It's the tiny one, though, right? Like, people break that all the time.
The little one. This
all
was
the
the
time.
bigger of the two.
Yeah.
Oh, it is the big
It's
one.
the
I
one
think
that
it is
meets the
bigger.
knee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Oh,
but-
man. Because the little one, like, you get a spiral fracture just turning too fast. On the little one, like, that thing's just a pencil in there. But that's crazy.
Oh, that
Sorry.
grosses me out.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, and the doctor's like, just go get some crutches. Well, Emily just had some, and it's not a big deal, but she had some upper body surgery last week that she's still recovering from. And she's like, I can't use crutches. I can't do anything with my upper body.
upper body still hurts.
And so here she is in a wheelchair.
I'm in so much pain. I haven't stopped taking medicine from the last thing which thankfully I'm like, well, I got a ton of meds at home.
Nice. Just ride that high.
Yeah.
Just-
So
Heck yeah.
Hey, Doc,
But-
I'm going to be honest. Something a little bit high from my last surgery. Can you?
that's what it's like. Like
Can
during
you just slow down a little bit, please?
during the X-ray, they're like, we just need you to roll over, and I was like, well, and they're like,
Flip
oh,
me.
did you hurt your
Flip
shoulder
me.
too? Yeah, and I was like, I can't. Just hold on, and I'm like trying to do these weird, and they're probably like, what
Oh
is
my
wrong with her?
gosh.
So that was fun.
Yeah, they were like, did you injure your shoulder too? The nurses were all like talking to each other.
And
They're
I
like,
was
I
like,
don't know, I think there's something
no.
else wrong with her.
'Cause I'm like moving weird.
Something
was
is
fun.
very, very wrong.
It was not fun, and I did land on my shoulder. Thankfully, I didn't like
Yeah.
f that up too,
Ugh,
because then it would have been
that'd have been real bad.
So-
That's what you were most worried about, actually, because we thought, whatever, it's a tendon sprain. Like, this happens
yeah. I
all
thought
the time.
I did up here. I did something like ugh.
Oh, crazy.
So, but the leg thing, so she said it's like 6 to 8 weeks. I checked next week if I need to get like a full on cast.
Crazy.
But she's like, no, don't put any weight on it. Which I'm like, no
6
weight
to
on it for
8
6 to
weeks?
8 weeks, and I have 3
Yeah.
kids, and like,
Lay in a bed.
What am
Yeah,
I supposed to do? Take care of everybody?
I know, how is that gonna happen?
It's not.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
Tell you
no.
how it's not.
It's not. That's just not going to happen.
is that what you
It
said
ain't
to the
happening.
doc? No.
Yeah.
Well, we were
Man.
talking about, we record the podcast down in the basement, and Emily was like, well, how am I even going to get down there? It's like, well, like, it's either I could carry her down. You eventually
Very
decided
romantic.
to do the slide down on your butt move.
I did a couple of wrong moves there, though, so I kind of...
Oh,
It
man.
was not... Maybe carry would be the better one next time.
But I had been looking forward to an opportunity to carry something because of all the weight training that we've been
Ooh,
doing.
That's a
Nice
smooth
transition.
move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I want an update because we haven't talked about working out in a while. I feel like the last time we were talking about working out, I was running 2 10Ks. I almost died.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knows what Ken's been doing. I completely switched after that. I was like, oh, that's the last time I'm ever going to run. So I've been doing nothing but powerlifting ever since. So Ken, you've been running what the Buff Dudes 12 weeks to Fantasticness program or something?
Well, truth be told, I didn't know what it was because I bought it forever ago just because I like those dudes. So everybody go on Google, type in Buff Dude videos, see what you get. Just type it in and see what comes
those
up.
guys.
No, if you go to YouTube, Buff Dudes, it's better understanding of food and fitness.
Okay.
They're goofy, kind of bro-y. I mean, they are brothers, but they're bro-y. The one guy was excuse me, I think it's the younger brother, was a bodybuilder forever, and he was the live action model for Kratos of one of those video games.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I knew
Yeah.
he did some stuff professionally. Like I thought it was like fitness shoots or something like that.
Yeah, so he does fitness shoots, but not necessarily in a bodybuilding sense. So if you need a huge model to come paint white with red paint all over him and shave his head and stuff,
That's
he
him.
did that. Yeah, and the other brother was I think he went to film school, and does editing. And so they've done workout videos forever, and it's mostly goofy stuff. But bought some program from them, which is basically, turns out it's power building, which is
My favorite.
it is the most fun.
It's the best.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I feel
It
like
is
you
the
would
most-
say everything's your favorite.
No, power building is the best kind of workout program, though.
Okay.
Please,
It's
I'll
a-
let Ken explain,
Yeah,
but it is
it's a
the
mix.
best.
It's a mixture of power lifting, which is weight training for strength. So the big 3: bench, squat, and deadlift.
Oh yeah, baby.
Maybe some, maybe some pull-ups, and there's a 5th one in there somewhere. What is it? I don't know.
Overhead press.
Overhead press, but nobody really counts that anymore. And then bodybuilding. So you have days that are just arms, which if you're training like Ben's doing, which is powerlifting,
100%.
you're not doing bicep curls.
Never touch
probably
'em.
ever.
Okay,
Yeah.
calm down.
Don't need them. Get rid of biceps. But it's a good. It's been a fun program. It's got 4 sets of 3 weeks. But boy, it really I was complaining to you, Ben, a week ago about the second set.
That one was
weeks
nasty.
Weeks 4 through 6 was like hardcore powerlifting. I was like, this sucks. I'm squatting way too often. I can't do that.
It was
and then
like-
it's over. But because it's 3 weeks, you get right up to that limit of like, boy, I think I need to quit this. And then now it's like bodybuilding. And now it's like, hey, day 1, 10,000 bicep curls. You got it.
Oh my gosh.
That's it.
Right when you needed it.
Right. So it offers some relief. I don't know. I don't have a game plan, but I'm happy to be on some sort of program at least.
It's
'Cause if
nice
you don't
to have
have-
a plan.
Yeah. If I didn't have that, I'd be probably not doing anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, I got a little envious of Ken's program, and you bought it, and then you sent me it to take a look at, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna run this, I'll go buy it too. It's not expensive for the PDF version.
$20. Yeah.
And I looked at it, and it was like it was really high reps, like way higher than I wanted to do right now.
Yeah.
And like maybe it's something I could do in between, right? So maybe I do a little bit of powerlifting and then run something like this, and then go back. But I was like, well, I need a program. It's like, okay, well, I have this weird thing where I'm doing endurance stuff still, but I want to do powerlifting. You can't there isn't something like that to buy. I was like, oh, I have to write something myself.
Yeah.
So I watched a ton of YouTube videos about how to program, and how to write a program for powerlifting, about like RPEs and percentages and rep schemes, and like how do you increase volume over the course of the program? How do you increase intensity over the course of the program? How do you do it through the course of the week? How do you do it through, whatever, day to day? And how do you judge yourself day to day? I mean, I watched way too much YouTube research up the yin.
Too deep.
Too deep.
Analysis paralysis.
Right.
Right?
What came out of that was a spreadsheet that I have that helps me sort of plan a 1 week at a time. And the idea is to do a 4-week build in intensity, and then a fifth week, it's a deload. And then I guess I would run it again, or maybe run something different, or maybe increase the volume or something like that. I don't know exactly what I would change. But it's exactly the thing Ken was saying he was getting sick of. It's I squat 2 or 3 times a week. I bench 3 or 4 times a week.
Whoa.
And then I deadlift 1 or 2 times a week.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
it's always an or, because Saturday is open. That's when my friend Evan and Gage come over, and they alternate between squat and dead. So that's my alternating day, is the Saturday. That's what each week is different. So this week was the 4th week of my 4-week program. It was the highest intensity, and it was hard.
This week? This was also like the week of me being like, I can't move. So.
And me starting 12-hour shifts for work. It was it lined up really poorly. But I have never worked out with a plan before. I've always worked out with sort of like I have a general idea of what I want to do.
Yeah.
This was I planned out 4 weeks. This is the weights I'll hit throughout the week. This is where I'll end up at the end of those 4 weeks. And I was so proud of what I did this week. Like, I was hitting numbers. Ken got me back into powerlifting. I had stopped weightlifting for a long time, and he got me back into it. And the first year we did, like, let's do PRs, I hit 435 on the deadlift. And the next time that we did it, I hit 485. That was last year.
Crazy.
Right? And
so what'd you do now?
What always stuck in my mind was, I remember when I thought I was strong, this was maybe like 7-8 years ago, I went to the gym and I deadlifted 405, and I was like so pumped about that. Like 4 plates. I'm super happy.
That's the first big one.
And I was like, I could do more. I put a 25 on each side, so 455.
And it didn't move?
It didn't even move. It didn't move at all. It was like, it didn't even budge. There was no gap off the floor. And at the end of this 4-week program, my top set was 2 sets of 3 at 455. At that weight that I couldn't move, that was a working set. That was probably an RPE 8, 7.5, 8-ish for me.
Crazy.
And it's like, I was so proud of being able to do that, and then drop down and do, I think I did 3 sets of 5 at 405. So lifting this way is like, wow, wonder where you could even go with this. Like, if you just power lift, if you like write a program, work mainly in the RPE 7 to 8 range, in these 3 to 5 set, like a maximum 6 sets a day, probably. It's maybe like 10 or 12 sets a week of squats. It's probably 6 sets a week of deadlifts. And I don't need to work on deads as much, because my dead is so much higher than my squat. Like, my squat sucks.
Well, that's not true, but
in comparison, though, right? Because I could probably deadlift like 515 right now, if I had to guess.
Jeez.
And my squat is like
Go upstairs right
probably
now.
100 pounds less than that, right? They should be a little bit closer.
I don't know. I'd say because when you get that high, that gap widens, I think.
That's true. And it's hard to then fit the endurance stuff in. Like, I tried to plan it into the program, but like, whenever life gets in the way, what do you sacrifice?
Yeah.
I sacrifice the endurance part. I drop the run part out of the week.
Well, it's
and
also rained. Like, it's Noah's Ark here.
I think we talked about it a year ago. Sometime we talked about the Fart Lords Invitational, or whatever we're calling it, for the heavy lifting. It's just that time of year where it's just really hard to do any kind of aerobic work. It's colder. There's candy and food everywhere. It's dark
That's true.
around 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to do that this time of year.
And I know. Go ahead.
I guess lean into it, but don't overdo it, right? Like
Right.
last year I leaned into it and then I came out 45 pounds heavier. But that had many factors involved. But
Exactly. Like I came out of last winter 215, and I went into it 190. Right.
Holy.
Like I put on, what's that, 25 pounds, and now I lost only 10 of that this summer.
Yeah.
And I tried, but I don't want to gain it back. Like I'd rather see if I can
Right.
get the strength without the weight. And last year was
now
about
it's-
like how big and how strong, and now it's just like, okay, how about just how strong?
it's a combination of many things. Like, right, I don't want to be 250 pounds again. Nothing, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not a look I want on this.
It doesn't carry well.
Right. I'm gifted with like being tall, and if you put on 10 pounds, you really don't see it when you're over 6 foot. When you put on 40, there's parts of you that you didn't know were there before, I guess. Like literal new parts on your body. And so now it's like, well, we're 35. Now we're into this territory of like, well, I'm going to have to be realistic about my weight lifting goals if I also don't want to just turn into a power lifter.
Yeah.
Right? Just a 400-pound dude that, I have to make my wife cook me 16 eggs each morning. So
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Well, and it was really fun to see, like, okay, with a 4-week plan, where can I go? And it was really cool to see that, but it was too fast. It was too fast. It's not
That is
sustainable. And what I
fast.
mean is, like, I'm right at the end of 4 weeks, and I'm like, okay, everything is starting to hurt a little bit. I'm having a lot of trouble with my left Achilles. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my patellar tendon on my right knee. I'm having a little bit of stomach problems on the right side. It's like, and then like my thoracic spine and then my low back, everything is just like, okay, bud. That was a lot of weight in a little bit of
Slow
time.
it down.
So I'm going to try to spread it out next time more, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't want to stick your
Cool.
foot just like in my X-ray while it was
I
happening,
wanted
just in
to,
the
but
corner.
they wouldn't let me.
Should've.
There's
Yeah.
a little extra
Can you guys
room
just
down
take a
there.
look at
Can you
this?
just?
Like, it's not working right.
I just picture it like sneaking into the frame slowly.
Well, Ken, I
Sorry.
totally stole your idea. You had like
Oh,
a
yeah.
kid's lunch box with
right
beers
here.
in it. Yeah, look.
Oh,
He's
look,
got
you
one
also
too.
have
So
Got
I have
Will's
mine.
today. Yeah.
It's the New Holland special. I have
Yeah, it
in
fits
there
3 perfectly.
in decreasing alcoholic content from say 5.9 to 5.3, and the final one is a 3.7. So that's the perfect.
8.5.
No,
Oh,
you got to
nice.
go down the hill.
You're right. I know.
You get the easy drinker before you go to bed. So
It's true.
up next, I have a New Holland Hazy River, New England
Ooh.
style IPA.
Fancy.
Nice.
Fancy.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
That
Now
is
you-
the exact same lunchbox, just different.
Yeah.
It
color.
is.
It's a
the
Target.
exact same one.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a Target. Yeah.
What are you drinking tonight,
Oof.
Em? You can't drink.
I can't drink, so I
Oh,
have
no.
some fake wine, just to pretend that I
Nice.
remember the taste.
The fake wine is no good.
It's pretty much like slightly bubbly apple juice,
Yeah.
grape apple.
It's
like
junk. I don't like it.
Well, I mean, if you're comparing it to wine, yeah, like,
Right.
of course.
I'd rather have juice.
But it's not as like heavy as juice. You know,
That's true.
it's a little bit lighter.
It's
but
a little playful.
I'm pretending, but I am on some meds, so I mean, I got a little something going on. The good stuff though is for tonight because it makes me like sleepy.
Nice.
So
Now, Ken, you were saying you were tired because you brought your kids to a water park yesterday, stayed overnight, slept next to a crying baby. Did you also have anything to drink? Is that contributing to your tiredness?
No.
Or are you
actually.
a-
I mean, we had a couple. We went to Great Wolf Lodge. No, we had a couple, and we learned our lesson the first time we went, which was that, don't eat or drink anything there if you want to come out with money in your bank account.
Oh, gosh.
But, although food is not bad there, actually. No, I was ready to complain. I got one-upped by Emily, who went out and got herself hurt. Because
That's true. You can't really complain anymore.
I'm gonna. Watch me.
Do it.
We had I've never experienced this in my life. Now, we've raised 3 children. I know what a crying kid sounds like. I know what it's like to be up all night with a crying kid.
Nobody likes that.
Nope.
But we were in a hotel room, and the people next to us had a crying kid. And it was profoundly in my head. I felt like I was on drugs. It was like
Like it's
in
like
the
in your
room with
dream,
us.
too.
Yeah, and you can't fall asleep. Something about once you have kids, it's like hearing kids cry. Like it was probably 1. I'm laying there trying to think like, how old is this kid? Because it's not a baby cry, and it's not like somebody throwing a tantrum. It's that thing where they're maybe like 1.5, and they're like inconsolable about something. I don't know.
About being in
anyway.
a hotel room instead of their bedroom.
Exactly.
Probably.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they're
You
overly
can't
tired.
undo. There's nothing you can do about that. That can't be fixed.
Yeah. Cried
Sorry,
for
pal.
easily 2 hours. No joke. 12 to 2.
Oh, my gosh.
My kids were up a bunch, which, whatever, they were excited. And then it woke up again at like 3:30. Cried till 5, and then woke us up again at 7. And I just, I think at one point my wife texted the front desk because it was like, listen, we're not annoyed. This is a lot of crying.
Yeah.
To where,
You're like,
like-
is it okay over there?
Can
And,
somebody
at one
check
point,
on this kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a lot of running too, and I'm like, well, that crying is too young to be doing that running. And the TV came on at one point, and it was really loud. I was like, is there no
How
one
thin
in
are
there
these
with them?
walls?
I don't
Yeah,
know, because
right?
I've
Did they,
never heard a kid cry through a hotel.
Like, did they
I've never
drop
heard
off a
that.
kid and then...
There needs to be some sort of law that hotel rooms are soundproofed from each other.
So
at
that
least
you
for, like, the
can
kid,
put your kids in the room and lock them
and
in
leave.
and
Yeah.
Right.
So when you're
No,
like
that's my big-
crazy high schooler, you don't get yelled at 3 a.m. for waking people up.
No, high schoolers are douchebags. We all know
I
this.
know.
Nobody
Yeah.
likes them.
Yeah.
I remember when I was on a school trip of some sort, jumping out the window of the hotel room. It was on the first floor. I wasn't
Okay.
leaping from the
I was
second
like,
floor.
what are you doing?
Because there was chaperones were monitoring the hallways. It was time for the high schoolers to go to bed. I jumped out the window, and there was one of the chaperones waiting for me because somebody had ratted me out.
That's
Whoa.
perfect. Did you turn around and they're just standing
I
there?
immediately leaped back through the window, and the other person who jumped back out with me, we closed the window, and they were stuck out there.
Wow, that's mean.
Then we had to pay
what kind
for
of
the screen.
circles did you run in that there were rats within your
Yeah.
anyway,
I don't know. I know who it was.
I do my best not to remember high school at all.
Cool.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Again,
No, thank
No good
you.
memories there. Or
No.
nothing that doesn't embarrass me anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it's either high school or early college, and we were in some hotel room. And of course we were drinking a ton, and I'm sure being loud and obnoxious. And then
course.
Mark went down to the lobby way too drunk. At that point we're we can't go with them. They're gonna know. And he was trying to hold the door for some lady, and it was an automatic door. And so he got brought up by security because they're he's trying to hold the
no.
door for people. But then they did the room search, and it was this real obvious 1 moment, and we're putting things in drawers.
Right.
You can hear stuff, and it's we probably had 20 bottles of the worst booze you could possibly
Oof.
find, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Fleischmann's vodka.
Sick.
right, just
Burnett's.
and
What's that one-
blueberry.
what's that
ugh.
wine?
Boone's Farm.
Boone's Farm.
Boone's Farm. Wine is a generous term. What's that juice with booze in it?
Right. It's like Kool-Aid.
And what was that? There
Kool-Aid
was
is better, actually.
Yeah, I'd rather have Kool-Aid.
Oh, the like apple pucker. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Which is
sure.
like,
How about like what's that blue stuff?
Yeah, that too. I don't know.
Curacao? Or
Nah,
Caraco? Or...
that's an actual thing.
No, this was like something sweet
Oh,
because we're like,
UV
oh, we
blue.
love it.
UV
Yes!
blue, yeah,
Oh,
that's what I was thinking
gross.
of.
And we're like, if you mix it with lemonade, you can't even taste it. It's like,
That
yeah,
shit
that's
is
a
gross.
problem.
Yeah.
Ugh. So yeah,
That is disgusting.
that's
Sick.
so gross. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Now, did your kids have fun at least, Ken?
Of course, yeah. They like to swim, and they got some fun stuff in there, and ran around for a little bit, so they did good. Yeah.
All right.
Nice, nice.
Well, how about we take a trip down the board game lane? You guys want to talk about some games?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't. In the last few podcasts, we were like had a huge list of games to talk about, and life got in the way, and we haven't been playing too many games lately.
No.
But the times that we have been pretty fun, except for my struggles with Hostage Negotiator.
Oh, well, that's all you.
Oh, this game with the dice roll and
The dice
I don't
roll
care
and
for this.
the solo game. I'm going to give the Hostage Negotiator update each time. So I finally found a place to set it up. I moved some of the kids' Legos off the Lego table because they weren't ever using it.
You look like you're in like a basement where there would be a hostage situation.
And
like
there's
the, way
the
you're
light
set up.
over that table is broken, so I have a little lamp on the table.
This is what I mean. You look like
It's a
someone's
single light bulb on a string with
flashing
the
every
shield
now and
on
then.
it so that you can turn it at people.
I suck at this game. So I started a career mode where you get 35 hostages and you play a 10-year career. And there's like all kinds of fun
Okay.
things that happen. Like you have career events and you have to make decisions. And you read a thing and then the choices are like you can't read the answer. It's one of those like red, blue things.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you use a red filter to be able to read it.
And those are the best.
Mm-hmm. So that's how you pick your choice. And then you get like pluses and minuses to stats. And I'm not quite sure yet what the stats do. And you can get traits. Like I think I'm rebellious is the trait I got because I didn't go to the company picnic, even though it said it was mandatory. I like went
What?
and saw like a band instead or something.
Wow.
Very
But-
rebellious.
My
Gotcha.
first hostage negotiation, there was like, okay, so you have 35 hostages over the course of your career. If you ever have to set up for a negotiation and you don't have enough hostages to do it, you lose the campaign. And I think I had like 11 or 12 killed in the
Oh my
first one
gosh,
I
Ben.
did. I did so bad.
What were you doing?
I saved like one person.
No. You're horrible at this.
You'd be fired a long time ago, first of all.
Right?
Like after two
Okay.
people died, they would pull you out.
So
of
I
there.
reset it. I
And then
reset
what?
it and I ran it again. I could do better.
You killed 15.
Same thing.
Same thing. I killed just as many. I did so bad.
Why are you so bad?
I don't know. I got to figure it out.
Was it you? Sorry, you just kicked my foot.
Oh my gosh, I kicked
Oh.
a broken leg.
I was gonna be like you son.
Well,
I don't remember what I was gonna say now. Never mind.
Good, because it probably wasn't good. Anyway, I'll update you guys next time on Hostage
How many
Negotiator.
people you killed?
man.
I am
Yeah.
doing real
The
bad.
kill tracker.
I think the last time we talked about Codenames Duet a little bit.
We played that more.
We played it more.
That's a good one.
It's great for like, you want to play a game? Well, I don't really want to play a game, but I want to play a game. Let's play Codenames Duet. Okay.
Yeah, it's super easy.
So, and
fun.
Nice.
I love that it comes with a little map of the cities, and it's just like a sort of a thematic way to say that the rules change each time. And the rules are like how many mistakes you're allowed to make or how many like
How many
total turns
tries
you
or
get.
something? Yeah.
And it just changes it up, you know, and I was just like, oh, what's this one? It doesn't matter. We always lose the same way. Emily guesses the assassin because she's a bad guesser.
No. I wish I could remember some of the clues you gave me.
It's the kind of thing where, like, you know, like if you're the leader of a group or a project team or a, you know, an army squadron or it doesn't matter, right?
Crack team of negotiators who have killed 11 out of their past 12.
I feel like we know
Yeah.
who's bad at.
Exactly. it's always your fault, right? And it's the same thing in
Sure.
this. If you give a clue that causes the person to guess the assassin, it's your fault. Except in my case where Emily continuously guesses the assassin because she's clearly an idiot.
You always pick really weird
You
things
always
to connect.
pick bad clues or bad guesses.
Bad clues. Though I do remember the one thing you said. You said dentist or toothpaste or something like that.
Yeah.
And I picked Glide, or what was it? I picked Glide because Glide is a kind of floss. But I don't know. I don't remember how it connected. But I was like, this seems real obvious. But really, for dentist, it was like a word that didn't even
It's
go with
every
dentist.
time. I mean, I said blanket, and one of the things was pig. Like, duh.
Yeah.
That one I did mess up on.
I'm an idiot.
But there's some that I didn't. I don't know. Like, I need to record you more so I can go back and be like, does
I'm
anyone
trash at
else
that game.
get that?
Like, I'm garbage. I'm just so bad. And it's because I'm always trying to connect, like, 5 things. So I have the vaguest clues in the world. You know, it'll be like ocean.
Right.
You know, and there's things out there that are like blue, sky, boat.
That's too direct. It has to be
Coral.
like
Yeah,
Sand.
there's totally
Salt.
not that.
Yeah.
or
Salt. Yeah, that's exactly. Salt's the assassin, and I said ocean. Right?
Yes,
Right, like that's the
that
kind of
is what
stuff
you
I
do. And then you're like, seriously?
And then the like words I wanted you to guess were like Moana and like what's
Right.
another vague ocean thing?
Even that, I feel like I
Shit.
would have gotten.
No, and that's
I
just
don't
Too
know.
specific. It needs to be like fish.
the yeah
I don't know.
the
It's
Truman Show.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Right.
that's the kind of thing.
Oh
sorry.
well. All right. Well, we did play another 2-player game that we hadn't played in a long time. Now we've always talked about that Onitama is a good 2-player game.
It's very
So we
quick.
pulled it out, played it again. We played a best 2 out of 3. Emily won. That game sucks. Let's never play that again. No good.
That game is like it's almost like a chessboard kind of thing, but you have little cards that say which directions you can go. And then once you play it, you pass it to the next person. So you keep passing cards back and forth that say what directions you can move your pieces.
Yeah.
I think we played it once, 3-player.
Yeah.
I think.
It's only 2, so maybe
feel
you
like-
borrowed
Really?
it or
But
something.
I feel like we've played it
I
before.
feel like we
with
tried
you.
it at 3 players.
Because it's
just
it's like a
for-
chessboard, right? Where you have
Yeah.
just somebody's blue, somebody's red. So, yeah, I obviously I was being hyperbolic. Like this game's great. I'm mad that Emily keeps beating me at it. But it is cool in that so you always have 2 choices of moves. So they're unlike chess where each piece can move a certain way, all your pieces are generic. The way they can move are the cards that are in front of you. There's 5 total cards in the game. So you always have 2, your opponent has 2. Every time you use one, you put in the middle the one you just used and take the one that was in the middle, which was the one your opponent had used last.
Yeah, so
Yep.
you can see what's coming to you.
Yeah. It's
I do
almost like
this
that's
game.
more
We
of the
played
game.
this- Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it always makes me lose in obvious ways, right? I always lose in like, of course I should have
Yep.
seen that. It's never like,
Yep.
Yeah.
like a lot of times in chess, you can sort of like get cornered in a way that takes a couple of turns to play out. And I feel like in
Yeah.
this game, I lose because I just didn't see something.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like one turn. It was just a dumb mistake. Boom, I'm out.
But it's quick and fun then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we
I think-
play this a bunch at Witchcraft or something, Ben?
Maybe.
You know
maybe
what?
maybe I
think
brought it
you
one time.
guys one time went and did that.
I think we played this like back to back to back to back. A bunch,
Probably.
because I
Yeah.
yeah. That
This
and
and-
they had Suro at the brewery there.
That was a lot of fun, and we played Hanamikoji a couple of
Yeah.
times, I think. That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Good
Mhm.
games.
Yeah.
What else board game wise? Oh, Emily, I can't
Huh?
remember another time that you bought something board game related.
I did. I saw the little upgrade pieces for Arnak.
Ooh.
You'll probably hear my wheelchair squeaking and squawking, FYI. But
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Do some wheelies.
I need like
You
music.
seem like a wheelie person. right?
I would
right.
fall on my back immediately and get hurt.
Yeah, I too scared to even try.
But the pieces we got, they're from Laserland on Etsy. But it's like the little compasses, which they actually are like real little compasses. So they all work, which is cool.
Really?
And then,
Wow.
yeah, and
That's
then
cool.
little gold coins, and then a little book or
Real gold.
journal. Real gold.
Right. Real compasses, real gold, real
a
little
little-
books that they've
I
taken
do
from-
wanna write.
They are
in them.
little books. They are little like they are
Really?
actual little books.
Yeah, you can like thumb through the paper.
You could write
Page
little
through.
secrets in them.
And a little magnifying glass for your, because the journal or book and the magnifying glass, you move up the tracker. So, but those are really cool. I gladly bought those.
Yeah. I
always-
love those high-end pieces.
Yeah.
They make almost any game better. But of course, you
Yeah.
only get them for the game you like the most, right?
This is for another episode. I really want to talk about upgrading games. Is it do we go for the deluxe edition up front, or is it you upgrade the games that you already have, you fell in love with? Like, this is an
you
interesting
get-
question. Which one's more fun?
I
Can
feel
you
like
get
upgrade what you like.
generic pieces that are? But then you're sharing pieces between. board
Yeah, I've
games.
tried that. Like Stonemeyer Games released
Yeah, we've kinda done
upgrade
that.
packs. I think there's 4 of them. I don't even know if you can buy them anymore, but they're like generic, super high-end pieces that are like.
Like food
Yeah, we
resources
used
that a
them.
lot of games.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. You get tired of like, oh, I pull out this game
gotta
and I
find
pull out the
the-
resource pack, but there's not
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
of them to like, I'll just load all these into this game and load all them into this game and
Yeah, we do
Well,
use
and you
the
can't-
the Roxley like poker chip kind of money.
yeah,
For a
the
lot of
iron
different games.
clays.
Yeah.
Those are really nice.
So we do that. But
That
I wonder if there's a. It would take some work, but a budget replacement piece thing, right? I guess that kind of goes against having the high quality pieces, but like, well, here's where to get 1,000 pretty good coins,
there probably is
plastic
something.
coins instead of cardboard. You know, but then you're theoretically buying a bunch of coins for games you don't play as often, and you know it's not the same as when you get I got the stuff specifically for this game.
Yeah,
and it
that's
is
fun.
always
Yeah.
better that way.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to put some thought into that. It's worth talking about at some point.
My big thing was always using kids' toy dinosaurs for
Oh, yeah.
Dinosaur Island. I've said it before.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was so great.
That made that so much better. And it was
Didn't
like
we-
$250.
Use something else for that game too, or was it just the dinosaurs? Oh, I think we had you borrowed the game, so we had like the upgraded Kickstarter money
That's
or whatever.
right.
The very
Yep.
first time we played,
That's
we
what it
had a
was.
borrowed copy with the Kickstarter coins that weighed like 50 pounds.
Those were
Yeah,
really
that was
cool.
cool.
Though.
And then you got to dig through the bin of dinosaurs to get exactly the one
Yes.
you
Right.
wanted for
I
this
need the
exhibit.
I
exact
loved that.
dinosaur me playing. Speaking of which, I saw a dinosaur
I don't even know what it is anymore.
New World or Dinosaur World instead of Dinosaur Island. I still haven't heard if
Okay.
that's any good. Somebody tell
Huh.
me.
I don't know.
Let us know. Hit us up on Instagram. Send us an email. Somebody please let me know if Dinosaur World was worth the Kickstarter.
Seems like there's so many Dinosaur Island World Adventure dual
It's
like
really just the two, and then there's
Is it?
Duelosaur Island, which was like sort of like a 2-player thing. I never
Okay.
heard if that was any good either. But if there's Dinosaur Island, and then they did another big Kickstarter, Dinosaur World, that everybody just got that.
it, right? Okay.
I don't know if it's any good or
Okay.
not.
I'm seeing
I
lots
wanna
of
know.
pictures. Of course, the color and
Oh,
the
it looks
graphics
fantastic.
and everything look
yeah,
good. Though.
I mean, I
Yeah.
love the look. Is it fun?
the way you
Is it
said
fun?
that.
Somebody
I
tell me.
love the look.
Love the look. Very bold, very sexy, very sassy.
Keep it up.
Good.
We did play one other game that we have not played since 2015. Mm-hmm. 2015.
In fact, I think that game was on our sell list, but nobody bought it, and we're like, well, it's a good game.
Well, that's a good point. That's going to come up in a second. We have tried to sell this game many times. Nobody ever wants to buy it. We played a game called Puzzle Strike, which is it was like based on sort of a deck builder right after Dominion came out, but it's a bag builder of chips, and it's Puzzle Strike. It's based on the video game Puzzle Fighter, which was a like Tetris style game based on Street Fighter.
Oof, this is a lot of based
It's
on.
like based on, based
Yeah.
on, and based on.
You've used 4 of your 6 degrees
Which
from
is-
Kevin Bacon,
yeah.
so you got
Right,
to
I'm almost there.
Which is based on Nintendo, which
Street
is
Fighter, which was in a tournament with
Which had a movie that starred Jean-Claude Van Damme,
who
Yeah.
was
who is
in.
the cousin of
and
Kevin
it comes
Bacon.
back around. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Is Puzzle Strike good? Nah. Is Puzzle Strike fun to play? Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
I feel like it's a. I don't know. It's once you know it,
Doesn't
it's
have
just
to be
kind of an
good, it's
easy.
fun, right? It's
Yeah.
It's an old
a-
game that if you want to go buy it, it's probably like $20 on eBay.
It's probably like $10 on eBay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed playing it.
It's just a fun one. That's why when we kept it, I was like, that's fine.
Yeah, it's
no
it's
harm done. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
a deck builder. Like you buy chips, all you're trying to do is shoot gems out of your thing at the other person's
Yeah, before
to fill
your
it up.
gems fill up in your. You have like mouse pads, like legit somebody printed on mouse
And
pads.
I don't know if
as your
that
board.
comes with the game because I got it in a math trade and it had a bunch of expansions and promos
did
and
it?
upgrades. I don't know if the mouse
Oh,
pads
well.
are like standard
Maybe
or
there
what.
were
I have no
something.
idea.
Mouse pads. I would be deeply offended if I bought a game and it came with 4 mouse pads.
It does. It comes with
Yes.
4 mouse pads.
And it's also
Oh,
like
no.
your characters, other than the rule
Cheap
book,
mouse pads. They're
Yeah.
like 1 or 2
Right.
like
mil.
you could
That's
peel
what
off
I'm-
that top
yeah.
layer quick.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
other than
and
the rule
it
book-
says Intel inside underneath after you
Right.
pull the.
Exactly. It's exactly like that.
You don't see your character though. Like you pick your character, they're on what looks like poker chips, and the size of like a pencil, stamping its eraser is the size of your character on that chip. Other than
Oh,
the rule
man.
book, you don't like that character.
There's
isn't
no art
There's
on
no
the chips.
art. There's
and the
no
chips are the only thing in the game.
like.
Huh.
So it's just kind of
It's
weird.
older, and I always heard that the big deal about this game was that Dominion came out and it was like, oh, deck building. It was a new, mechanism, right? Nobody'd ever seen it before. Donald X Vaccarino. Then Puzzle Strike came out and everybody was like, you're copying Dominion and you didn't give any credit. Like, and now
Can you
there's
imagine
deck
if
building
games
everywhere.
like tried to give credit to who they like?
Right.
For give me a break.
Right. It's like nowadays it's just a mechanism, right? Deck building,
Right.
worker placement,
Mm-hmm.
engine building, whatever. But at the time there was Dominion, and then Puzzle Strike came out, and everybody's like, "You're copying." It's like
I
shut
don't-
up.
yeah.
Crazy.
I do like though. It's like Puzzle Strike, and it's like bag of chips,
Bag of
and that's what it
chips.
says on the cover.
All
And
you
you're like,
need.
And it kind of looks like a video game.
it looks like
Everything's
if in high
chibi.
school someone hired me to do the art on like whatever weird program I had
The
at
golden,
the
the silver age of board games.
time. Yeah, like it's
Not
just
the
a
gold.
real weird,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's a
That's
fun
funny.
one.
But you're absolutely right. We tried to sell this many times, and it brings me up to one other thing I wanted to mention, and I totally forgot my little notebook. I have a little notebook that had all the games on it that I wanted to mention in this next part. I keep thinking about all the games I sold.
But
So I have done
Okay.
over the course, I've done a couple of math trades. I haven't done them in a very long time because I rarely need to keep the same number of games. Most of the time, if I'm going to get rid of games, I want to get rid of games. I
Right.
don't need
Right.
to keep the same number. So I haven't done a math trade in a long time. But I sold a big number of games 2 different times. And it was like, well, these don't work good at 2-player, or Emily doesn't like them, or we actually both just don't like it, or whatever. And lately I've just been like
what games are you sad you sold?
I'm sad I sold Terra Mystica, which doesn't
I-
really play well at 2.
Doesn't play well at 2. I did like that game for a group, but at the time we didn't have any groups, so
I wish we did, we talked about Phil Walker Harding a few episodes ago. I wish we still had gizmos. I would love to. Exactly. Every one of these I'm going to say, you're going to be like, I don't care. But I just would love to have it around still to be like, well, let's try gizmos, right? I wish I had kept War of the Ring.
that's more of a collect,
I wish I
Yeah.
still had Wildlands, which was that miniatures fighting game we played with Kyle, my brother-in-law, my sister's
Oh.
husband.
But once again with 2,
No, it doesn't work that great at 2, but like you
Yeah.
like essentially have like a team and you have minis and you're like fighting on
You're
a
like
map.
finding crystals or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have my list in front of me. I had so many, even Dominion. I've sold Dominion. I kind of wish we still had Dominion.
But Dominion's good, but at 2, it's just kind of like you're each playing solitaire across the table from each other.
Well, whenever we take a break tonight, I'm gonna go get that list.
gonna
I'm
go.
gonna come back with the list and
Let's
I'm
do
gonna
it right
lay it
now.
on you guys.
Yeah.
All
We'll
right.
Wanna
be
do it?
back.
All right, let's take a little break. I'm gonna be right back with the list. All right, I got my list. Here it is. Let me lay it on you. Okay.
it.
So I said War of the Ring. I said Dominion. I said Terra Mystica. I said Wildlands. Another one on there, Lorenzo Il Magnifico. Wish we still had
I
that.
kind of remember it, but like
Exactly. Like I kind of remember it, but like, was it good or not? I don't know. Wish we still had it
I
so I
just
could
remember
check.
it was a lot.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was that bad.
Was.
Nah. Like I put Scythe down here. I was just kidding.
I was just kidding.
Brass Birmingham. I wish I still had Brass. I like Brass a lot.
You always talk about Brass.
I know.
And
I
then
mean,
you
It's-
follow it up with like infinite number of like, well, here are the reasons we're not going to play it.
well, exactly. But like, I still want to play it to be like,
But don't like your friends have all these games?
Emily,
Don't-
please stop for a second.
Stop and think before
Not-
you open your trap.
You're
Like
probably right. I think my friends have every
they
single
probably
one
have
of these.
all of them. If you want to get it out of your system every now and then, go borrow a game.
Gaia Project, along the same lines as Terra Mystica. Never got to find out if I like that one better. Never got to find out.
Never will.
Sorry.
Never will. Fields of Arl, right? Maybe that's Ui's masterpiece.
I remember we played that one and we're like, this isn't our favorite.
It was like.
Has anyone ever called it Yui's masterpiece?
No. I
So then
don't.
the likelihood of it being Yui's masterpiece?
But maybe it's great.
I
don't
don't
know.
think
Be-
I
better
ever
than
see
zero?
anyone play that.
How about Brewcrafters? I liked Brewcrafters because it was like the first big game I ever kickstarted.
It was fun, but I remember playing it like a couple of years later, and I'm like, this is kind of bore snore.
Yeah, there are better games, but I had that cool tray with all the.
There were things I
Beer.
Did
liked
we play
about
that?
it.
I think we.
Yeah, we
Tried
played it a
that.
few times.
I don't know
Once.
if we tried to at a brewery when I came down to visit you,
Oh,
And
that's a
it
lot.
was
and
not
we
the
were like,
place to
"What are we
play it."
thinking?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead,
Yeah.
we just ate food.
If you
Which was very
hit my foot
enjoyable.
one
Yeah.
more time,
If I,
stop bumping.
why
in-
is your foot in my space?
Can
Like,
we get a?
You
Let's
should
cut
see.
to.
It's
Let's
like
cut
on-
to bad knee cam.
Right. I
Yeah.
wish we
And
had.
it's like one
Next
of those
time
like
we'll have bad knee cam.
staticky.
I promise you, the next time we are here,
And it's just Ben's leg whacking her all the time. Just
let's cut to the bad knee cam.
I
Oh,
keep like bumping into this. I'm sorry.
I keep bumping into you.
How? Oh my gosh, you did it again. Please stop.
let's
I
cut to
am-
the knee cam.
Let's cut to the knee cam.
Just show
Uh,
like a car crash.
Another bang in the
It's
knee.
just like world events of like
Right.
explosions.
Just a bomb going off.
It's like a montage.
Dog fights. Like
Here's
Dogs
a clip
and
of
cats
Emily.
living together.
Clip of Emily trying to get down the stairs, and it's just one where the car goes off the cliff and just dust.
now I like want to make this video.
You got to cut
just
that
to-
in.
That means
Yeah.
you got to cut all this in and maintain
Right.
the audio, which is that's too much.
like goes with it.
Right.
Right, that's too
You
much.
definitely need to do
Wow,
that.
this is a lot.
No, you can pull it off. I have
102
faith in
knee
you.
Cam.
All right. Well, enough about board games I don't have anymore.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. What can I do? You know, the thing is like, I didn't even like make much money off of any of those. They're just gone.
Well, you'd make more money if you didn't buy them to begin with.
Well, exactly. Or if I still had them around, I could have made memories.
By yourself? Like
No,
nobody.
we are currently talking about the memories.
Right.
Yeah.
That I could have made.
Right.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Well, guys, it's almost
Okay.
Halloween.
Mm.
Emily's favorite holiday.
No, it's not.
No,
And
I was
she
like,
wanted.
the delivery of that line. I was like, "Are you sure? Are you? You don't
Not at
sound very
all.
convinced."
I'm
Like
not
I
confident
like
in that.
Halloween, but it's not my favorite.
Get your broken foot out of my space.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What is your problem? Well, in celebration of Emily's favorite holiday, she wanted to talk about some of her favorite movies.
Well, I also wanted you guys to chime in too.
All right.
What spooky movies do we like?
Yeah, what do you like to watch? What spooky movies?
I don't like spooky movies.
Zero. Yeah. I avoid them at all costs. But there is one. You got one on your list I want to hear about because
Which one?
We'll get 2018's Annihilation.
Ooh,
Oh,
that was gonna be my recommendation if someone wanted a what the fuck spooky.
I should watch
movie.
that because
You
I read.
definitely need to watch
Yeah.
it.
I didn't read the Wikipedia. I read the short form book of it, like the
Oh.
what are they called? Cliff notes or the bridge notes
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah, okay.
Because it's a
Okay,
whole book series.
So you kind of know.
And I
Then
was
I feel
like,
like
this
you need
sounds
to
really
watch it.
cool. And I read the Cliff Notes on it. I'm like, this is really cool. And then the movie was like, this is probably not going to be as cool as I think it is. So I'll just stick with the Cliff Notes. I don't know, though.
Part of it, I don't want to talk too much about that one just because I don't want to give it away if someone wants to watch it. That's the most recent, it's not like a scary Halloween movie, but the most recent, scary drama, whatever, adventure
It's
movie
very.
that I've seen. And
Isn't it? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, when we watched it, we were both like, what the fuck? The whole time. But I also didn't really know anything about it.
Okay.
So.
I think it's because if you don't get to the end, a lot of the early stuff doesn't make a ton of sense.
I feel like
And
even
I
at
don't-
the end, it didn't make sense.
No, but I mean,
the end
because
was-
that's
Yeah.
the end of the books. The end of
Yeah.
the books is I think, because the movie doesn't try to cover all the books, I think. The end,
know.
there's a explanation of what it is and what's happening and what she's seeing and where they are. And
I feel like
anyway,
they kind of tried. I don't know, but
Maybe
I would
I'm making
suggest
it worse.
watching it. I would like to hear your take on it, Ken.
Yeah,
Well, I
go
don't-
watch it and report back. The
I will.
sound design
I
on this
should.
movie, A+.
Yeah?
if you
Cool.
got a decent sound bar or something, don't you?
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
whatever.
but there's a
Turn it up.
woofer and everything.
Yeah.
A woofer.
The last 30 minutes, you're like, why do I feel this way? And then you realize it's because of the sounds
of the
that are
noise.
playing, and you're like, can I?
You know what
leave? This? I'm very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There was a thing I watched when I was little, and I don't remember what it was or where it was, which
The
was
Labyrinth with David Bowie in it.
no. Well, yes, I saw that when I was little, and I was horrified
Yeah.
and enlivened at the same time. I'd never been so afraid and so alive at the same time. No, there was I think I watched a thing on sound engineering, and it was, oh, here's how we do this, here's how we do that, and some guy basically said, hey, if you're really not having a good time in a scary movie, plug your ears.
Yeah.
Because most good scary movies, it's all sound design.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
And
makes
if you mute the movie, and you can watch any scary movie on mute, doesn't matter. I mean, you would never be. Maybe you get a little jump,
but
but
not.
without the sound,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not even remotely the same experience.
That's
So that's
true.
cool that you say that. It's why do I feel weird?
Yeah.
Because they can do all sorts of weird stuff with sound.
Well, there's parts of that movie that scare you, and there's parts of that movie that just are weird, and there's parts of that movie that just are, I don't know, intense.
I just remember days
Yeah.
after being like, what the fuck? We'd enter a room and then talk about it for 2 minutes and then be like, okay, I gotta go.
It's just like the lighthouse. It's like when I went to bed, it's all I see. I still
Yeah.
only see Willem
I still
Dafoe
have flashbacks.
staring his
still yelling at
lighthouse
you.
eyes at me.
What did we?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
There's your Halloween movie. Go watch The Lighthouse.
Yeah, that would work too.
Yeah.
And then invite your significant other to go to one cabin on an island for 4
Just
weeks.
you two.
My favorite, one of my favorite memes is Willem Dafoe in The Life Aquatic, and then Willem Dafoe in the lighthouse, and it's always like me before I did something, and then me
Me
after.
after.
And it's so good.
That's what I was like, what did we just watch with him? But that's what it was.
Yeah, it was. We watched The Life Aquatic.
We watched part of it. I fell asleep.
Yeah, you were falling asleep.
I think I'm on pain meds 24/7 these days.
Nice.
That's my
Yeah,
thing.
baby. Aren't we all?
No, I remember I probably didn't watch it in 1999. Maybe I did. But Sleepy Hollow is a good one. It's not too scary, but gives you the Halloween vibes.
Is that
You ever
with
seen that one? It's with, I
who
think,
plays
Johnny
the
Depp.
headless? I think Johnny Depp is in it. Who's the headless horseman? It's
Oh, I don't remember.
oh my gosh, it's not Willem Dafoe. It's
Oh my God,
he
if it was.
dances. He's a professional dancer. He's Christopher Walken. Is that who it is?
Oh,
yes,
really?
that's who. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
yes.
this
I
movie's
totally forgot
great.
about
Seen
that.
this
This
I
one
think
is
this
good.
movie's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Highly recommend that. Sleepy
I'd
Hollow,
recommend that one.
1999.
I put Hocus Pocus on the list just because that's like a classic
Never
when it comes
SJP.
to
seen it.
SJP classic. You've never seen Hocus Pocus?
No, because I wasn't an 8-year-old girl.
Yeah, but like you don't.
At
have
least
to be
not
an
recently.
Well, that's the thing, though, is if you've never seen Hocus Pocus,
Well,
should
I
you
don't
go
know. If
watch
go
Hocus
watching it now,
Pocus?
you'd be like,
Don't
Yeah.
watch it now.
Yeah.
So,
right.
It'd be
It's
like going to watch Casper. You're like, what the hell
Right.
is
Hey,
this?
Casper's on the list
This
too.
sucks.
Because
Casper's good.
Casper was a good one
Casper's
back in the
great
day.
if you saw it when you were a kid and you're like, oh, I remember all this and like the
Yeah.
goofy machines, and she like finds the like.
I always hated in that they moved into this like old haunted mansion, right? Like I think the dad is someone who's supposed to like talk to ghosts and all that junk, but they move in and he's like, pick a room, and she just like picks a room and puts her shit on the bed. Like the bed's been made for, I don't know,
Thousands of years.
Yeah. And she's just like, this is my room. And I want to be like, do you know how effing dirty that room would be and how gross? You wouldn't be like, let me just slip into my sheets tonight. Like, that has always bothered me since I was little.
The mansion is
perhaps-
just a set, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Perhaps the spookiest part of this movie is the uncleaned bed sheets.
Right.
That has bothered me.
What's up with we were just talking about this the other day, the uncles?
In
Oh, the
Casper?
trio.
Yeah, the
Did you text that
spooky
to me?
trio.
What
Yeah.
was that?
Why
Yes.
were you guys talking about
Yeah, I
Why
don't
were
remember
we
why.
talking about it?
Because you guys were talking about Casper, and I was like, don't forget.
They were like,
and
like
what are their
drunken
names?
douchebags.
It's like Stinky, Fatty, and Lardo or something,
Yeah.
or like Dum Dum, or
which makes
It is.
no sense.
It's something stupid like that.
which everybody's named that to distract you from the fact that these are dead people haunting them.
Yeah.
But let's make it wacky and silly.
Yeah, exactly.
It is crazy like that. When we were in high school, the scary movies were like The Ring, The Grudge, and
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, The Ring, like,
That was scary back in the day.
I did watch The Ring, and it scared me a lot.
It was scary.
Yeah, it was scary.
Paranormal
Did what it-
Activity, also
Yeah.
scary.
I never saw that.
That
The
was
first one was scary.
that was probably I think that's the best like home footage movie.
And that
right?
was
like,
fairly one of the first. Not really, but
but it was towards the beginning. It wasn't
Yeah.
the Blair Witch Project, which
that scared the
was
crap out of
also-
me.
I didn't watch.
That scared
that.
the crap out of me.
That was like 7th grade or something. 8th
Yeah,
grade, I
What's
don't
the
know,
ending
right
of
around
that
there.
one.
Yeah.
Ending of that one, something else.
But like Paranormal Activity was on like the whole thing was on like security cams or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, that was like creepy.
Yeah.
I remember I've seen so many parodies of like the bedroom scene where I think
Yeah.
one of the people gets like pulled out of the bed or something. There's just I don't know.
At the time though, it was really scary.
It was
Yeah?
creepy because it was very subtle. It was just like the door opens and you see like
Right.
one little thing move. Like I don't need a demon to be in the closet to be. I'm more
Right.
scared of this. Like, did you see that one little thing over there? And like, you
What's
know,
the home footage video that was about like a kaiju attack? It wasn't Super 8.
Oh, you're talking about
Um,
Cloverfield?
Cloverfield.
Oh, Cloverfield
Yeah.
was like how to get nauseous though in 10
I liked
seconds.
Cloverfield
That's true.
though.
It would the whole
The
thing
second
was like
one was good.
very shaky. It was like too shaky.
It
Actually-
really sold well the like especially because it started with like the birthday or the going away party, or it was a birthday party or
Yeah, and
something.
then
Something
like
like that,
everything
yeah.
gets
Kaiju
attacked.
attacks.
Yeah.
Huh.
Go
It was a good
watch 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is vaguely a follow-up.
Okay.
Good psychological thriller, which is
That's what I
they're
like
peop-
usually.
it's a collection of randoms in a storm shelter or a bomb shelter during the kaiju attack.
Ah,
And so
okay.
so the whole movie is just them in there. They don't know each other, don't trust each other, don't know what's happening. And so all the scary stuff comes from people for the most part.
People who are
I
scared.
think is it John Goodman? Or John... Who was the guy from the
John
TV
C.
show?
Riley.
No. John Goodman. John Candy passed a while
He
ago,
passed
right?
away like
Planes, Trains,
John
and
Goodman.
in the
Automobiles.
90s more. Yeah.
Yeah, John
Cool
Goodman
Runnings.
owns this bomb shelter, and he like saves a couple, and so they're stuck in there with him. That sort of
And
thing.
he's like a
That's
creep.
what it's like.
Cool.
Yeah.
I put not safe for kids, but it will be under the family favorites. Is Coraline.
I don't get this.
Has-
I don't get these like weird movies that are creepy, but they're for kids.
They're
It's
so
the
creepy.
what's his name? It's the
Yeah, spooksville.com.
yeah, who's the guy who did Nightmare Before Christmas?
John Candy.
No.
Now I
He's
can't
a director.
think because it's
He's famous for it.
gosh, what is
It's his
flippin'
thing.
name?
I think he did Edward Scissorhands?
Right. I know who you're talking about.
Wait.
I can't think
And
of
that's
his
all
name.
this is.
But
It's just
he did
copycatting.
not do Coraline. Yeah.
No,
It
it's
is-
just
yeah.
knockoff.
Oh, this guy
Coraline
What's
looks
his
is like
name?
being
scary
Coraline.
though. Like legitimately super scary. It's also like
Really?
that you know the Little Prince? Is that the one
Yes.
where the girl is like left at
Tim
home
Burton.
because her mom and she has like a huge yes,
Thank you.
Tim Burton.
Sorry,
And she has a huge to-do list of all the things
but
to
that
do.
was that one scary.
But
I
then
never
the
watched
next
it.
door neighbor is like a pilot or something, and he talks about how he like crash landed in somewhere. And
I never
is that
saw
the
this
Little
one.
Prince? Like
No,
Yeah,
it's
I think
something
so.
similar. It's like a modern
or the
take
red
on
scarf
it
or something? I just don't. They're all the same sort of animation style. Now Coraline is like extra creepy.
Coraline's
but
so creepy. Like I don't even remember
This
it because
one
I didn't
picture
want to
you
watch
have,
it.
this one picture you have in the notes of the like,
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
know,
that's the
skeleton
mom. The
woman?
mom turns into that.
oh my god.
And then
No,
she's like
thank you.
chasing Coraline around. She's like, "Come back
it's
here!"
the
and she's
mom, or is it the mom? And isn't there some sort of like fantasy world
Well,
where this
there's-
woman is like super nice with the button eyes, and then
there's
like
a fake world where then it's her mom, but she's like changing.
the
and
mom
being, like,
in the
creepy.
fake world
yeah.
turns into the creepy
But
lady.
then she's chasing Coraline. She has like her creepy button eyes. She turns into like a skeleton, and she's like
I don't like
chasing her
anything
up a
about
web.
this.
It was the most effed up
Yeah,
thing.
she was like secretly like Shelob.
Yeah. It's so, and Coraline has her flipping black button eyes. Who thought this would be a good idea for kids?
I don't know.
It's not good for adults either. It's
I guess it's
spooky and
a-
scary.
It's a testament to Tim Burton's skill that he's able to toe that line a little bit, I guess. Because I remember seeing previews for this movie, and I was like, that doesn't look right.
No.
That looks legitimately scary.
Yeah.
Look, I've never sat down and watched this movie, but it was on. I think Olivia was watching it. That seems appropriate. And then it was like, I don't want to watch this. This is messed up.
I just remember
What
trying
is
to turn
this?
it off multiple times, and the kids are like,
Yikes.
we need to see the ending. And I'm like,
You
this
don't.
is
No, you
messed
don't.
up."
Can't be good.
yeah.
Based on what I've seen so far, it can't be good.
Crucial life lesson.
scary.
You don't have to finish this.
Hey, but what was that stop motion animation movie with the like? Oh, Kubo and the Two Strings.
That was
Now
cool.
that's a good
Love
movie.
that.
Didn't see
That's
that
a great
one.
movie. That's cool.
Yeah.
Watch that.
That and oh, you know what rides the line on creepy? Not Halloween related at all. Or wait, it kind of is. James and the Giant Peach,
Ooh, that one.
which I think is also like that
Probably.
starts really creepy because he's kind of beat up by his aunts or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
right. They're like really mean. I do remember watching that when I was little, and then we watched it probably for our kids one time, or I turned it on, and it was a
Really?
lot creepier. Like when Liv was
Yeah.
and
don't
I
remember
all of a
this
couldn't-
at
sudden
all.
was like, what the? Like
We couldn't get through the beginning because the beginning is a good 15-20 minutes of him like just in misery.
Yeah, his
And then
arms
by
are,
the
like,
time you got to the
horrible.
peach, I was like, I don't want to see this, Dad. Get me out of here. It's like, that's right, son.
What about anybody ever see the BFG, Big Friendly Giant?
No, but that one
No.
is at least not like this creepy style
Never seen
of
it.
art.
Yeah, I don't know
Got
what's
no
up with this
interest
in it.
creepy
Isn't
art.
the
I don't like the
BFG
creepy art.
By
They're trying to do the
Like
Tim Burton. They're trying to
I've never
capitalize
seen
on-
Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's fine.
I feel like that's not even as scary as what these look like.
No.
Oh, these are
If
like
anything, that one.
creepy.
If anything, Nightmare Before Christmas sort of makes fun of the creepiness, right? They're
Yeah.
mostly all silly.
Now, you wrote down here the Jordan Peele movie Us.
I
Oh,
just
no.
saw it like on a list. We
Is
never watched it because I was like, I don't think I can.
Oh, we
handle
never
that.
watched Us, but we watched
Get Out. Is that
Get
what it's called?
Out.
Get Out was good.
It's
Wait.
also from
Yeah.
Jordan
it's
Peele,
him.
right?
This was like the one he made after, but this one, even when I saw a preview, I was like, I don't think I can handle this.
Yeah, I don't think
It looked too
was like
scary.
in a house. Now, Get Out, that is a scary movie.
That one's really good. But
I've
that one
never
doesn't
seen
have
it.
the like horror element necessarily. I
he-
mean, it kind of does, but
Thriller. It's
yeah.
definitely a thriller.
yeah.
Did they finish? What is his name? Jordan
Peel.
Peele. He was making a follow-up to Us called
Did he make
They.
it up? I think.
I
was gonna say, I
think.
think he did.
I don't know if it. I
But-
don't know, but I've never seen any of these because they all look too scary. Quite
I
frankly.
feel like Get Out was so good that it made me want to watch Us.
Yeah,
but
but
then
it looked
Us
so
looked so
scary.
scary that I was like, I can't handle that.
I didn't think.
Really?
But Get Out
Wow.
was super scary too. And it was
Yeah,
a
but
very
it's like in a different way.
in a different way. It was anything I would say about why it was scary would ruin it.
Yeah, don't
Right.
say anything.
Yeah,
but
you
that,
can't.
That movie is good.
But
that movie got so
movie's
much
like,
praise and coverage that it's like, well, I'm too scared to watch this, so I'm gonna go read everything I can. And I did, and
that
spoiled it all,
ruins
and I'm like,
it.
yeah, and I mean, maybe I could watch it now, knowing where it goes, but knowing where it goes doesn't make it any less, like, painless to get there,
Yeah.
right?
That's true. When he meets the other guy who's
Don't.
like
Yeah, don't-
trapped
don't.
there,
Yeah, stop.
Stop it. You are like spoiler city
it's not
over there.
spoiling anything. It's
Yes,
just
No,
like,
real
is.
quick. Should people see Get Out? Probably,
Yes.
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
Should they see Us?
I don't know.
It looks spooky, but I heard
If
Too
you-
it's
scary
good.
for me. Too
Yeah.
spooky. 5 me.
Yeah. My
3 spooky.
my
5
other one I
me.
put down was the Addams Family. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Yes.
But I feel like that's
Yes.
a really good one.
That is a
The
Brooks
Addams Family?
family.
Yeah.
That's a
Have you ever
Brooks
seen it?
family repeat. And
Oh,
then
nice.
what's the sequel called?
The Munsters.
No, like Dead
The
and Loving
that old
It.
TV show.
I remember watching like all the Addams Family movie. You know, I watched.
Oh,
those
you
when
know
I was
what?
little.
I will give you a Halloween movie to watch.
What?
Can't believe I didn't think about this. When is this from? I gotta pull it up real quick. Hold on. It has a very long.
Charlie Brown and the Giant Pumpkin, or what's
No. 1965.
Oh
no,
my gosh.
1985. Sorry, 85.
I was like, whoa.
Transylvania 65000,
Whoa.
Ooh, this
Starring-
sounds very 1980s.
starring Jeff Goldblum
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
and
Famous
Ed
from
Begley.
The Fly.
Ed Begley Jr., who you would recognize Ed Begley Jr. the moment you saw his picture. You'd be like, oh, I love that guy. They're two journalists who are sort of like part of a crappy newspaper who get sent to Transylvania to investigate monster sightings. And then it kind of parodies all the monsters. Like
Ooh.
Dracula's wife is this
This
woman
sounds
who
fun.
just
Yeah,
like
that sounds good.
and Frankenstein's monster is there, but really Frankenstein's monster is this. And the werewolf is there, but really he's this. And all these it's humor. It's probably not that good in hindsight, and it's definitely probably offensive at least once.
Oh,
if we know
well,
anything.
Any movie before.
1985.
Yeah. You're like,
But no,
"Oof,
go
man."
watch that.
Who's the? Oh, have you guys ever seen the Gene Wilder movie? What is it? Young Frankenstein.
Yes,
So
I love that
Yes,
movie.
but it's been
When he's like,
forever.
okay, no matter what I say, anything I tell you, do not open this door. Don't let me out of here. Like, no matter.
Yep.
And as soon as he
Yep.
gets in there, the second he gets in there, he's like, hey, hey, come on, open the door.
Man,
That's so
Gene
good.
Wilder could he could be scary like nobody else could be scary. He could be sincere like nobody. Like him panicking at the door is so immediate and like so good.
All right. Well,
All right, sorry.
Okay.
moving on from Halloween movies, we could talk about
My
some
favorite holiday.
video games. But I look in the list, nobody wrote it
Nothing
down.
there. Haven't been playing
Alright.
anything.
I will say a couple of
Nothing.
things. I think it pairs into our next segment. We're going to talk about
Segment.
some
Sorry.
Instagram
Segment.
questions from the listeners. And I
Okay.
do think the very first question
Yes.
plays well into video games.
Would you like to read it for us?
But before we get there, I
Oh.
do want to say one thing. It's very early for Christmas stuff, but Elsa came to me. She likes to play.
Watch out. She might listen to this podcast.
I don't think Elsa listens
Yeah.
to this podcast. She plays
And
Euro
if she
Truck
did
Simulator.
for an hour and a half, she earned it. Right.
Right. If she got this far into the podcast, you
She
can
figured
find out
how
one
to
of your Christmas
download our
presents.
podcast.
She plays Euro Truck Simulator and she loves Forza Horizon. And Forza Horizon
Whoa,
5 comes
cool.
out soon. And so she asked for a pedal and wheel and pedals for
Oh
Christmas.
man.
And I was like, done. Boom. I already bought it. It's already here. I have it. Like I have the wheel and I have a stand and to mount the wheel and the pedal. It's already all together. Like
Yeah.
I plugged it into the computer and it works. Like I set it up, it works fine.
Oh,
Now
that's
it's
so
hiding back
cool.
there. Like I was like, absolutely. Like this is something I would
Yeah.
never have bought for myself.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of expensive unless you get
They're
the
very
cheap toy
expensive.
ones. Which
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy the cheap toy one. So I went out and bought the like baseline entry level sim one,
Yeah.
the Logitech G29.
Not
and,
cheap though. I mean,
Not cheap.
No, but
Nope.
it was like on sale or something, right?
Well, Logitech released a new version of it. So they had
Yeah.
the
I gotcha.
29 and then they had the
Yeah.
920. That was the PlayStation and the Xbox
I should
version.
get
So they
one.
just came out with a new one. I don't remember what 923 or something like that.
yeah.
yeah.
So the
The
G29 was instead of 400, it was like 230.
Mm-hmm.
I bought
Ooh.
that. I was like, boom, Christmas. Here you go.
yeah.
It's all set up,
Christmas,
but
here you
under
go.
the tree, I kept the box. I'm gonna wrap the big box.
Yeah,
There's nothing in
yeah.
it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, absolutely. Like that's gonna be
I
the
have-
coolest thing
Yeah.
ever.
I have insanely nostalgic memories of my older brother getting a wheel and pedals and a stick shift
Oh.
that you had to like stick to the. You had
Oh,
to
yeah.
have an elbow-shaped desk or a weirdly shaped chair
So
to mount it to.
the
so
stand I
weird.
got that it's a nice mount for like the pedals screw into it and they're angled, and then there's a mount for the
Wow.
wheel and it's height adjustable. It comes with a mount
Oh,
for the
does it?
shifter for the Logitech, but
Crazy.
the Logitech shifter is another $60.
Yeah.
Kids wouldn't
She
want
It's
doesn't
just like-
need
don't
it.
care
She
anyway.
doesn't. Yeah.
She's not gonna like clutch and shift and stuff, so
Right.
it's like
No.
there's
They're,
paddle
like,
shifters on the
driving
wheel.
through like fences and out of control.
Be
Like, they're
careful though.
not-
I mean, that's how my brother wound up doing that for. Not that it's a bad thing. He wound up being a mechanic for a living, right? Because that
Be
was
careful.
he got that when he was like 9, and was like
That I
but
mean,
he
that's
was-
sim stuff.
he was-
Like,
he was stick shifting at 9 or 10 years old
mhm.
on God knows what game he was. Need for Speed 1,
right back then, like
probably.
the
you
very
know, there wasn't
first Need for
iRacing back
Speed.
then.
Yeah.
I know at the higher
that's
end,
awesome.
like you talk about sim racing, like
Holy
real
cow.
race car drivers practice on iRacing,
Yep.
right? Like it's like real, you know, the Logitech's not a real thing, but and Forza Horizon is an arcade game, but still, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a ton of fun. You can play
Yeah.
Wreckfest and stuff with the wheel. It'll
Yeah,
be
they
a
all
ton
like
of
that
fun.
Yeah.
game, so
Cool.
they'll be
I
pretty
need
happy.
to play more of that.
Oh yeah.
That's a great game.
Well, Forza Horizon 5's in Game Pass. I already
Is
have
it?
it installed, but I can't play
What?
it. It's like releases November
gotta-
something.
I need to install this right now.
I got it
No, I'll wait.
pre-installed. Man,
So we
I
don't-
can't wait.
It messes up the whole
Well,
thing.
Horizon.
I need that wheel. Now I can't race you without a wheel.
Now's the time, man. I saw the 920, which is so I got the G29, the PlayStation version, because it was cheaper than the 920. But then, like a couple days later, I saw the 920 was just as cheap. It was like $230.
Crazy. You'll have to send it to me. I'm in.
All right, so Emily threw this out to the Instagram followers. Would you do a story, Em?
Yeah, I just said
She
ask
said,
those questions. Sorry,
"It's
I said
time
that weird.
for some Instagram questions."
Questions.
I'm so tempted to steal the Gamecasters. They always do the Instagram inbox.
Oh man, except for our inbox is very limited. So if you guys want to send in more, that would be great.
I love listener questions.
Me too. That's why
I do
It's my
too.
favorite
I get
thing.
very excited, but
It
then
really is.
sometimes we don't get that much.
I gotta dive
I'll
back
start.
into my
Your
beer
cooler?
lunchbox here.
I got my water in here. It's my last one.
Oh no, I should have put a water in there.
Too
All
late
right.
now.
So, Emily, could you read to us the Instagram questions, please?
Well, did you want to read that first one?
No, please.
Should
first
I
one.
read the first one?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
No, I don't want to. Thank you.
Oh, you as a. What video game should we play this fall?
Who wrote that in?
Some loser named like Bilbo something.
I wrote that one in.
Oh, come on. I see now.
Oh my
The answer-
gosh.
The answer is Gloomhaven on
I'm
PC.
glad. Ken's got the same answer that I was going to say.
I am
Gloomhaven
ready.
1.0 comes out.
Oh my gosh, it came out yesterday.
I thought it
we
was
missed
October
it.
25th.
No, 25th is Dice Throne Marvel, which I'm also
Yeah.
trying to remember desperately.
So it's out?
Gloomhaven came out on the
You're
20th.
telling me. All
Shut
right, I
down
got to
the
open up Steam
podcast.
here.
Let's start it
Yeah.
up.
Stop
Library.
recording.
Gloomhaven.
Do you know
You know
how
what would be-
letters go?
And I'm not
Ben's
gonna.
looking between
Update
the
queued.
M's.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Let me
here.
hit the update. There we go.
Here,
1.0
I'm gonna-
is
Better not,
coming
like,
down
mess
right
something
now.
up right now.
I'm gonna
Okay,
position you guys. How could we? I would love to be able to do some sort of like Gloomhaven bracket or some sort of thing where like people who listen, people who play, just tell us what you did in Gloomhaven this week or over the past 2 weeks, or like I don't know how you like.
I
Hey,
don't
can
know.
you jump in? Like, Gamecaster's real good about doing Twitch stuff, which
Yeah.
that's a lot of work.
Here's what we
Kudos
do.
to them for doing it. How do
Absolutely.
we make Gloomhaven like a hey, we need a fourth.
We set up a Gloomhaven night.
Okay.
Somebody will run the campaign. We'll all play together. We're going to live stream us playing Gloomhaven. Watch out. Go to Date Night Dice on Twitch. We'll throw it in the Instagram stories when we're going to stream. We're going to stream Gloomhaven campaign to Twitch of us playing it on stream.
Okay.
People
I have
can like
one
comment
request.
on that, right?
What?
You
What's
have
your
to
request?
hook up a computer and monitor and mouse and keyboard to Emily's wheelchair. And
Yes.
her
Mm-hmm.
and her character's name has to be the Oracle.
All right. Will she
And that's it.
play the Spell Weaver again?
Sure.
Sure.
I guess we're starting over, right?
Let's just start right where we started last time. I'll play the Brute.
Can we do that?
The Spell. Yeah, of course we
The
can.
problem with we failed last time because our team layout sucked. After
Only
we all
later on when we unlocked the music
frickin'
class,
frack.
music note class, and I can't remember the
Mine
symbol
was
for
like
yours. I don't
called?
want to spoil what
Yeah.
it is. Spoil what it is. And
And
then
I,
later, later, Ken, we unlocked Sun class. I started a new character as Sun class, which I really like. But me and
Yeah.
Emily tried to play 2 characters each, and it was just too
it was
much.
too much.
Too much.
We
Yeah,
only did
I get
that like one time.
But Sun class was cool. I want to unlock Sun class in the video game. All right, we're gonna play Gloomhaven.
There you go.
It's
Gloomhaven.
settled.
Okay.
Okay, what's next?
This one, if you had unlimited money, what would your dream game room look like?
Ooh.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't read any of these questions ahead of time, so it's off the cuff here.
Oh my gosh. So
How unprofessional.
unlimited money is like that's
Well,
That changes it too much.
well, let's say I don't know, put a limit on it, but you have enough to like do some things.
If my wife stopped getting in the way, what would my game room look like?
Well,
yeah.
well, I mean, what do you want that you don't currently have? Like a monster table.
Ben wants definitely
maybe?
a gaming table.
Like an actual gaming table, probably.
you want
is
one that like has
Yeah.
the lip and goes in right?
better lighting,
Right.
Yeah.
Lighting
a
would be
racing
nice. Yeah.
sim rig.
It'd be cool to have like a little, like if we always play games down here in the gaming room, to have almost like a little fridge or something, you know, like snacks
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
drinks like down
A
in
little
the game room.
kitchenette.
Almost like a little wet bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be cool.
That would be cool.
But otherwise, I don't think it takes much for a nice game room.
No, I would love a good display setup for painted minis.
Oh.
That'd be
Like
cool.
most of the glass display cases you can buy, the shelves are very far apart, and minis are
Right.
small. I
You
want
need
a
something
glass display case.
Super shallow.
Yeah, with like
And, you
6
know,
like-
inch
That too.
shelves, like
Yeah.
boom, 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 and it's like, and they're each
could
shelf
make
is a
that.
different game, right? So like
That'd be
maybe
cool.
there's like 20 of them, and you could be like, here's all my Marvel stuff, here's all my
Yeah.
Warhammer stuff or whatever, here's all my like Gloomhaven painted minis. Like you could like show them off. That would be cool. I've never been able to find. I've never even seen anybody who has something.
Gotta
like
make it.
You gotta
I
like
guess so.
IKEA it. And,
A
like,
mirror,
make something.
some plexiglass, some lighting. You could do it.
But you know, it doesn't take much. Like Emily's made some good points about game tables. She's like, you can play on a regular table, and it's like, yeah, you're right. You know, like
Oh,
just,
yeah,
I just want
yeah.
a space for it. Like what I like,
Well,
what I
actually-
would like to have is like if we're gonna play games, we go to the game playing space.
Area.
Yes.
You mean you
yeah.
don't want to clean off all the garbage off the main table?
Well, it's like here it says unlimited money, and it's about having a dedicated space for it, which I don't have unlimited money to buy a house big enough for like a dedicated space. Like if I had unlimited money, I would love to have a dedicated space that's a home theater, that's a game
Yeah.
room, that's a
Yeah.
gym, right? Like all my hobbies each have their own room. That's what I would do with unlimited money.
Yikes.
Circling back to a little bit earlier, unlimited money. I want the primo hardware for each game.
Oh,
I want
Every
the-
game
the-
upgraded.
that would be
Every
cool.
single one. I want the
Top of
all
the
the
line.
neoprene. Everything's
Ooh,
neoprene.
all the mats.
I don't want to see cardboard unless it's like
All the
unless I'm
tokens are
throwing it in the
neoprene.
garbage.
It would be
Yeah,
cool to have like a little area where you just store them. You know, like when you go to a
Yeah.
fabric store and you pull
Like
out like the
scrolls.
yeah,
Oh,
and
let me
instead you
pull out
just
the
like
re-
pull out the
Right?
mat.
It's on a sort of
You
like
you blow the dust off of the neoprene and lay it out.
right, because you have so many games because you have unlimited money.
Right. I can get with that. Like
I like
it's just
where
a
this is
wine.
going.
It's a wine rack with neoprene stuff
Yeah.
in it, and you have
Exactly.
to, let me get the butler. He'll pull down Rising Sun. And
There's a little ladder, you know, in case you have to get from
right,
the top
yeah, he
that
slides
slides.
it over and
Yes. Yes. It's like Beauty and the Beast, but instead of the library, it's the game room.
Any YouTube watchers will see we have the neoprene mat for Cosmic Encounter Duel that Ryan from the Gamecasters graciously gave us, spread out here on our gaming table. This is to encourage us to get some plays of this game in.
We still haven't played this
We need
game.
to do that.
Ryan always gives us shit for it.
So we'll
too.
do each time we'll have a different neoprene mat here, which means we'll have to get some more neoprene mats.
Oh my gosh.
Ah, darn.
Gosh darn.
Someone said, would you ever start posting videos on your YouTube again?
No, don't ask.
No.
Which which I said yes, and that was before I broke my leg. So considering all the gaming stuff is downstairs, and that's going to be a hard thing for me to just sneak on down to post a video about, like do videos, it might be a while.
But
We'll see.
we'll get back to it. That's how Date Night Dice
Eventually.
started, right? It was, let's make some YouTube videos. Let's make
Yeah.
some like high quality edited videos of.
It just will be hard for me to do like quick ones. That's all.
We'll get back there.
But eventually we'd like to.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Are we
Um,
going to do Reels and TikToks? No. No, we're not.
Hate it. What is the most important game you've ever played? Which I didn't.
I get it.
think.
I get it.
I like
It's,
this question. I have a couple answers.
Okay, good, because I couldn't think.
What is it for you, Ken?
I got two, probably.
Okay.
It's No Surprise, Small World.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
First game, that, we've talked about this 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
We had like 8 people playing. It was all my best friends. I was engaged to my wife at the time that weekend.
Yep.
And it just, I think you said before, Ben, it was like, man, everybody likes this. This is really cool. I could get into this. Uh-oh. Fart?
Ben almost exploded.
Almost.
Anyway. And then the second one, maybe Rising Sun, although I don't know if I consider that important as much as I enjoy. You and I and my brother Rob seem to play that once every 5 years. And it's just, I love that game. I love you guys. That's all there is to it.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
I thought we would all have the same answers, to be honest. And what I mean by that is, like, I was hoping you would say Small World, Ken, and I was hoping Emily would say Agricola, right? So, like, way back
that's
when
true.
I didn't know
been a long
hobby
day.
board games existed, and then somebody said that they did. I didn't even play one. They just told me Board Game Geek's a website. I went there. I bought number 1 and number 2, which was Agricola and
Some stupid thing.
shoot, what's that Civilization game with just cards? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't. I can't think of it right now.
I don't know what it's called.
Anyway, we played lots of Agricola, but like that was important to me as like, oh, there are hobby games, and we did it as a couple. It was like this cool couple thing. But when I played Small World at this, what you're talking about, up in Houghton, when you got engaged, like that was like, oh my gosh, games can be so great. Like that is what lit the fire, right?
Like we played that game 6 or 8 times in about 3 days.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like all we did
That's
all weekend.
all we did. All weekend.
And
Unreal.
what I loved about that was like exploring a game with the people I love in a way that's like, it doesn't happen a lot anymore. Like I have great like game weekends where I hang out with people that I really like and we play lots of awesome games. Emily and I will explore a game deeply, but it's like very rare anymore that it's like we get a group together and we're all just gonna like get into a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Small
And
World was
everybody-
like that one time that happened.
And everybody played. There wasn't
Yeah.
a person that
Right.
was up there that didn't play at least a game. Probably
think-
2.
Right?
And
we had
everybody watched, even if you weren't playing. You were
Yeah.
excited to, like gather around the table. We kept having to be like, we need a bigger table, and like moving around.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
We kept
We had
wishing
more
for like,
people than we had
where's the-
players.
where's the 10 board? Where's the 12-player
Right.
board?
Right.
I have the 6-player Small World board, which was an expansion because at the time it was like, of course I need this. Like,
that
let's
wasn't
get
even
more people
nearly
in here.
enough.
Yeah.
Right? You know, we went back home and played 2-player Small World a bunch, enough to realize 2-player Small World isn't that great. But we
It's not the
played it a
same.
bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same. Ben, this one, well, this is for everyone, but from 0 to I already reread the first book. How freaking excited are you about Amazon's Wheel of Time?
I already read the first book.
Yeah.
Reread the first book. That's how
So
excited
that's how
I am.
excited you are?
Did you really?
Well,
Wow.
I'm like halfway through the audiobook.
Okay.
I started it again. I think I'm like, okay, everybody they went to Shatter Logoth. They all got split up. Parents finding out about the wolves.
They're all getting their own thing.
Matt has the dagger with Rand, and Rand's like, yo, bud, what's your problem?
Oh,
And
cool.
like Tom had to fight the Murdral in Whitebridge. Remember when they're like leaving Whitebridge and like that's when
Is that all in the first book?
That's not even halfway into the first book.
Man, the first book is
Baby.
really good.
So good.
The first one is really good, which is why.
And like
know,
Moraine
hooks
and
ya.
Land end up with just Nynaeve, you know? And it's
Yeah.
like Moraine and Nynaeve hate each other. They never
Yeah.
reconcile
All
that,
women hate each
which
other
is
in that.
crazy because at the end, in the very last book, it's Rand, Nynaeve, and Moraine that go together because Kalendor can only be wielded by a male channeler with 2 female channelers. That's the only way you can wield Kalendor. Right, Ken? You read the 3rd book.
I think so. Yeah,
Where
when
he goes to
gets
the
it.
Stone of Tyr
Yeah.
and he gets it, but then he tries to use it. He goes kind of nuts.
It doesn't
he,
work.
Lightning
Yeah.
bolts all the Trollocs, but he kills a bunch of people too. And then later in the series, he uses it again against the Shan Chan, and again, it goes nuts, and he kills a bunch of his own people. And he's like, "What's up with
Yeah.
this?" Well, they finally figure out that Kalendor can only be wielded by a man in a circle with 2 women. And it's Moraine and Nynaeve, I think, at the end. That
Huh.
I
go,
don't
isn't
remember
it?
that
That's
part.
cool.
I mean, it must be, but I just don't remember. I haven't listened to that book, though. The last book in years and years now, so.
Right, so you back it way up. I essentially it's so much book. So many,
Yeah.
many books back up to the beginning, and it's like, this is so good. This is so good in the beginning. That first book is great.
I'm
First
curious
book's
as
fantastic.
to, how much of the book they're going to follow and how much is just, I don't know. Or,
I think if I'm excited for the show because they have the benefit of being able to cut stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of shows they make nowadays, it's a hot book series and it's book 1 and 2 or book 1 and 2 and 3 of we don't know because the books aren't done yet. Here, the books are done. We can cut, we can shift, we can do whatever we need to do to get there and have it make sense, which
That's true.
I feel like they're in a much better position to figure it out, right?
Right, they know the whole story from the beginning.
Like Game of
true.
Thrones, they had to finish before the books were done, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that did
yeah,
not
that's
end
true.
well.
And they also don't know
That's true.
what's important for the end, right?
Right.
Like, what do I need to show now that's important later?
Well,
Yeah,
and now the author is burdened with good thing I didn't write that because people didn't like that. So
I mean, yeah, right. And we don't have to spend too much time on it. It's crazy, reading things for a 3rd time, going through it and seeing this is the 3rd time I've been through the first book, and how different things are. Like the first time I read it, you think about in Bear Lawn when Rand runs into the White Cloaks, and he doesn't run away. He freaking throws his cloak back and shows his sword to the White Cloaks, and they're like, "Hey man, what's your problem?" And the first time you read it, you're like, "What's happening here?" And the second time I read it, I was like, "Oh, it's because the pattern is
it makes a
taking
little
over
more
and
sense.
Tiberian."
Yeah.
And the third
that's
time I
true.
read it, it's like, no, it's actually because, and they talk about this a little bit earlier, when you use the power for the first time unguided, then later you should expect to act crazy or do some weird stuff. And he uses the power on Bella to make her run faster to keep up with all the horses, the big horses, when they're running from Edmund's Field
I don't remember a lot
to
of this.
Tarrant Ferry or whatever it's called, to the
Isn't
ferry.
it like Tarn
Ferry.
something?
He uses the power on Bella to make her run faster, and then so when they're in Bear Lawn, he has after effects of using
It's
the
like
power
kooky.
unguided, and that's why he acts all weird. He
Maybe
feels
I need
he
to
says he has a
re-listen.
headache all day. He acts, and then when he sees the White Cloaks, he acts crazy, and then later that night he's totally fine. And it's like that happens to him a couple more times. You remember he uses the power. Oh shoot! When does he use it? He uses the power another time, I think in Shatter Logoth, and then when he's on the ship. Oh, when they're running from the Trollocs and they jump on Bail Doman, is that his name? His ship, and a couple days later, Rand's on the top of the mast, flying back and forth on the top of the
I need
mast,
to
acting
reread.
like a maniac.
don't
over
Man,
there.
remember
yeah, I don't
some of
remember
this.
this.
There's so much cool.
Crazy.
There is so much cool stuff when you go back through the books, and you're like, wow, this is all was
Maybe
planned
I'll
out.
have to re-listen before we watch the show.
Plus, you get young Michael Kramer.
Oh my gosh, his voice
Yeah.
is fantastic.
You listen to him nowadays, reading the Brandon
Whoa.
Sanderson books, and he's
so
been through a lot,
gravelly.
Yeah. He's been talking a lot. Been
Right.
doing a lot of reading.
right?
There's a kitty.
Hey,
Oh my gosh,
Max.
it's Max. Maxie. Look how cute. Oh my gosh, he's like
He
just
doesn't meow.
podcasting.
He could
Say-
podcast. Hey, Max.
say-
Say hi.
I have a lot of thoughts on this issue.
Ken needs to finish the Wheel of Time so that he can really
Not gonna
embrace
happen.
it.
What I was gonna say is that having not finished it and having not touched it for I don't know how long, I have a great sense of relief being able to watch it theoretically, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Sort
just
of-
get to watch the show.
I get
Yeah.
to see the good stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
right.
know enough about it to not be caught like with my feet in the mud. Where it's like, okay, it's the power. Men can't wield it. Women can. Yada, yada, yada. Like,
Yeah, that's true. You got like the cliff notes.
yeah, I have enough to jump into the show, which is super exciting.
And you didn't even get far enough though to get to like the Black Tower and the Ashaman and all the like men.
Was
who
it
wield
book 4 or
Sidene.
5? He was like going
Side-
through different dimensions and crap, and there were like weird people giving him stuff and
There
bunch
is
of
some
naked redheaded ladies.
That's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that
Avienda.
episode.
Yeah, I can't wait till we see
Ugh.
Avienda
Yeah.
in the snow.
Book 5, here we come.
Which one of the three of you could best wrestle a gator and why?
I feel like Emily looks like Min the most of the
I
three.
like how you're going back to. I just said a new question.
A gator?
I say Ken.
Do we
yeah,
have
probably
to?
Ken. He's got the biggest
No.
Yeah,
size
let's
advantage.
say we're all trapped in a room and one of us has to go wrestle one so we can all escape.
I would love to
I'm
make a
gonna say
joke
Ken.
about like your ferocious attitude or something, Emily, but like I feel like a gator would overwhelm you
Have you
instantaneously.
look at my current injuries? A dog took me out.
Right.
Like a gator would just chop my leg off
No
instantly.
problem. If a dog ran into my leg, it would like break its neck.
The
or
dog
something.
would get broken.
Yeah,
Give
the
me a
dog-
break.
Well, no. It's funny you said the dog ran into your leg because, I've had dumb big dogs before, and it's like, they'll crack you in the leg sometimes, and it's like, boy, one of us was not far from being injured there. And I don't know who it was, but I think it was me because your skull is a bowling ball,
Right? It was
and
like
my
she
knee
didn't-
is not.
She actually after was she was all excited that I was on the ground because the people I was with were like potato and they're trying to grab her and she's like jumping and trying to lick my
Right.
face. Like she's like, oh, you getting in
Right.
on this?
You're like, Dad, you have a broken bone.
I'm like trying to breathe through it and she's like excited to play. So
No,
but
oh, we're
I'm
going for
saying
the-
I would throw Ken in the gator pit.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the thoughts on my mass. Using my mass to my advantage.
I
I'm all
feel like
show.
you're-
I got no real skills here.
Like you had
No.
an older brother, like maybe you guys like
That's
wrestle. You know,
true.
I feel like
That's
you could
true.
handle like a crazy
I do
gator.
know, first thing, you put a cloth over the gator's eyes.
See, look at this.
Steve Irwin taught
he
me
like
that.
knows. He
Because
knows
Exactly.
what
they
to
have
do.
some sort of thing where if they can't see, like their brain doesn't register where they are, basically.
Okay, so,
And so
good
they'll-
thing.
Duct tape a cloth over its eyes. Oh, you know what? Did I send you that dumb video of the guy who got the gator to go into the trash can?
I don't think you did, but I have seen it. Maybe you sent it to me. I think you sent it to me, and then like a week later, I saw it like in like
In
an
the actual
article.
news?
Yeah, like
Out and
an
about.
actual thing. But it was like it was like day one. I got it from Ken. He was like, "Check this out."
The real
He just
reporting.
He just pushes a trash can at a gator until it gets mad enough to like attack.
Like attack.
It goes in. He flips it, closes it, and drags it down to the pond and lets the gator out.
Oh my gosh,
Pro moves.
that is. What is Ken's favorite and least favorite thing about his wife?
What? My wife.
This was an actual
sent this
question.
in? Why is this? It's not even in the notes. That's why.
I didn't want to give
What
you a
is the
heads up.
question?
What is Ken's favorite and least favorite thing about his wife?
Okay, that's fair. Favorite thing? She's the nicest person in the world. I've never met somebody so nice and sweet and relaxed in most situations and able to take crappy stuff and roll with it. Least favorite thing?
Yep, you can. Yep.
Dang,
just
we
kinda
need some of
whisper
that energy around here.
with you.
Hey, don't point any fingers, Em.
Least favorite thing energy? When she cleans, she makes piles, and then the piles don't go anywhere. So, and I mean, I do all sorts of shitty stuff, right? But that's a very specific, like it's a great time of year. We got to get the kids' winter clothes out. So we got to take stock on boots, jackets, snow pants, hats, gloves, everything. All of that stuff will come out. It'll go into piles, and then I'll come home from work.
That's where they stay.
Come up, and there's 6 piles, and that's where they stay until I guess I just put them all back in a closet, or
That's
Well,
No,
lucky for you, she probably doesn't listen to an hour and a half of this podcast.
I think she
so.
does actually.
Oh
Sorry
no!
for
Well,
her.
hey Megan, I hope you're listening.
Why
I
did
hope
she
she
listen?
heard it. That was a good. I feel
No,
like
maybe that's a lesson for me to step in though. I don't know.
if someone's least favorite thing is like, I don't think you organize quite as well. You know, like, okay, I'll take that. Or someone being like, you're a real
my
bitch.
God,
when,
I wasn't.
You know?
Yeah. Did you think I was gonna say like, well, I just hate her. I just hate her guts, and
I don't have anything nice to say, but I got a lot of mean stuff to say.
Yeah.
How much time do we have? I'll say it to her face. Hey, come in here quick. I got to tell you something.
yeah.
God.
Why don't you tell me what these piles are about?
Fucking hate these
You
piles.
recognize this? Look at this.
Yeah.
I have made 3 piles.
I think that's what bothers. You know what? It's not even on her. What bothers me most is that when I see the piles, I cannot discern what the characteristic is that makes this pile a pile, right? Like if it was, okay, here's old underwear. It's like size 2T. Wouldn't fit anybody in this house. Okay. I
Where
guess
does it go?
we either I don't think you can donate it, so we got to trash it. But the pile's there, and I can't make heads or tails of it. And I think that's what drives me nuts. Doesn't drive me nuts.
I run into this problem all the time.
I don't know
Our
how to
dining
handle
room
it.
table. It's like I want to play some games. I got to clear this table off. Every single thing on the table, I'm like, I don't know where this goes.
Goes somewhere else.
They're all different items. Calvin's paper from school, a picture that Elsa just drew, Olivia's like file folder thing. I don't know where that goes.
It's a flexi folder.
Her flexi folder. It's like some
What's
sort
the
of like
difference?
knick-knack or something. It's like
Right. That's
what is the actual place
I
for these
pick up
things? I don't
that
know.
Dumbass
A magazine.
knick-knack. And it's like, I know where this would go, where I'll never have to see it again. It's called the garbage can. But to a child, this is their most precious resource, right?
Right. They would come out 10 minutes later and go, have you seen that?
Hey,
Where's
have
my
you seen-
picture of the Naga?
Yeah.
Well,
They're
and
like,
now,
"Oh,
and now they're getting old enough to it's like, Dad, why did you throw out my picture of a naga or whatever you said? It's like, oh, I'm sorry, that must have been an accident.
yeah,
I
right?
literally just took the kitchen counter and poured it in the garbage can.
You have to hide that stuff. You got to push it to the bottom
I
of the
guess
garbage if you're
so.
going to do that.
I don't know where any of it goes. Oh, do we have more questions?
There's just
Em?
one more.
One more. All right.
It's
One more,
favorite
alright.
childhood memories or good things to help
Ooh.
kids remember like their childhood memories without overload.
Oh, the second part's tough.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Like I feel like I live very much in the present, and
'Cause
what
you
I mean by that is
you,
that
like,
my
honestly
memories
can't
fade.
remember the past.
I agree.
But I think they go
No,
hand
yeah,
in
I'm-
hand.
I would consider myself forgetful by most people's standard. But because, like, if it's not something my wife is talking to me about or something that I need to do for work, I'm just not, it's not going to sink in.
I would
right?
also describe you as forgetful.
Yeah, I
We'll
am
talk
forgetful.
about something, and then like 2 days later, you'll be like, "Hey, did you ever hear about this thing?" And I'll be like, "Man, we just talked about this." Like,
Because it's very, like, and I don't want to be, like, rude. I feel like most stuff is surface level to me.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't connect. I don't know.
No, while we're
I always
on
have
it,
this-
Ben, what's your fave and least favorite about Ken? No, I'm kidding. Like,
Oh,
we just
whoa,
keep...
who wrote that one in?
Whoa.
I was
Ken's
Let-
talking
doing
lay
it
it out.
right
It's-
now.
Hey,
Ken's
man,
typing.
that's all surface level stuff to me.
I was talking to my brother about this. This was a few months ago, but I was like, man, I'm like a shallow pond. I'm like a broad, shallow pond, right? Like, I like a lot of things very surface level, but if you went any deeper, there's nothing down there. That's
Yikes.
and he's like a deep well, right?
Right.
He is like the part
Right.
of the ocean you haven't found yet, and he's hanging out
He's
down there.
what is the Marianas Trench or whatever
Yeah.
it's called?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my brother as well, right? Is like, we've had conversations where it's just like, man, try not to think about it. I don't know.
Right. Don't
Like,
worry so much
It's
about
not,
it.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You know, they
And-
come to you with a problem, and it's like, well, what do you mean? I would have forgotten about it already. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I know what you mean.
I'm forgetting about it right now, and then I disappear.
What were we talking
Right.
about?
Right.
And it's funny because but it is good to have people like that in your life that are different than you, right? Like,
Yes, absolutely.
as frustrating as it is to be like, you're thinking too hard about this, and for him to be like, I don't care about anything you're talking about because it's like dumb, stupid stuff. Like, it's
Yeah.
your dumb hobbies that I don't care about. At the same time, it's like, hey, man, like, I'm saying to him, like, get some hobbies and have some fun. And he's saying to me, like, hey, there's some stuff out there that's maybe worthwhile to think about. You know, all my podcasts I listen to are like gaming and movies and video games and stuff. And he's like, oh, why don't you go listen to the Jim Rutt Show, which is like a whole thing about like Game B and like all these very in-depth things. And John Vervaeke's 50-hour YouTube series on the meaning crisis. And like, I actually just started listening to Jim Rutt is doing a 4-part episode on John Vervaeke's 50-hour
This is, like,
YouTube series
too
on the
much.
meaning crisis.
Woof.
And that
Yeah.
stuff's like interesting, but I like the
Sure.
4-part 1-hour podcast episode version instead of
Right.
the 50-hour version,
Yeah.
which my
Right.
brother probably watched the 50-hour version.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the same way. It's like, I was talking about this. This question was about favorite childhood memories and how you remember them. But like, I was thinking the other day about like how important it is to have people around you who like complement your interests and complement your temperament, right? So like, Ken and I are friends because we have shared interests, but our different temperaments, I think, make us good friends because we balance
Yes.
each other out in a way.
Yes.
Emily and I have similar temperaments, which make us a couple, I think, but we have different interests, which makes us able to
Yes.
introduce new things to each other.
I
And
would say the
so-
same about my wife and I. Yeah, same, relatively same temperament, vastly different interests. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about like finding you never want somebody around you that's the same in both, right? Because like that's boring, and you never want somebody around you that's different in both because you can't find any common
Well,
ground.
that would be.
And I think like it's important to look for that and to find that, right? I don't know how that plays into
Is
childhood
that your favorite
memories.
childhood memory?
Here. The second part of this question is the hardest, right? How do you
Yeah.
help kids remember theirs without overload? First answer is you can't. You can't
Yeah.
control,
Especially these days.
especially these days, you cannot control what weird things you remember as a kid, right?
Yeah.
That is true.
I don't know. I have no clue what favorite childhood memory. Gosh,
know.
I don't know. I got
It's-
beat up by my brother once because I sat down on the toilet and said, "You can't beat me up because I'm taking a poop," and then he beat me up.
Well,
It's not my favorite childhood
But
memory,
it comes to mind.
but
apparently.
boy, it's right up at the top. I don't know.
you know, Ken earlier you were talking about, well, he got beat up by brothers, right? He'd be good at wrestling a gator, and it made me think about I used to play living room football with my dad and my brother.
What?
Yeah, so like it would be me. It would be always be my brother's 6 years younger than me. It would be my dad and my brother versus me, always.
Just you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be like he was being nice, right? Like
Yeah.
kind of letting me win sometimes. And my brother was like going all out 100%, and he had my dad to help him. and I was
Sure.
going all out 100%. And we would either be like wrestling or like playing football in the living room, where the end zone was there was tile in front of the fireplace and there was carpet in the living room.
Oof, that seems like a
And
real
so you would
bad
like run
end
down
zone.
the field was the carpet and the end zone was the tile.
I feel like fireplace and tile should not be the
Yeah.
end of anything. Like that should not be the goal.
It
but
always ended when my brother got hurt every single
Well,
time.
tile and fire. Yeah, I heard that.
But before then, it was always my dad holding my legs and arms, like, full Nelson. And then my brother punching me as hard as he could in the stomach.
Yeah.
But he was just little.
Yeah.
And my dad would go, "Stick 'em, Sean." And then he would hold me so I couldn't, I'd have to just, flex my stomach. And my brother would just, punch me.
Did you get legit mad when that happened as a kid? You seem
No.
like
Oh,
someone
yeah.
who would have.
Yeah, he's lying.
Yeah, he totally
He's
did.
lying.
No,
Yeah.
I enjoyed that thoroughly. I didn't get.
Yeah. Okay.
You seem like someone that'd be pissed that happened to you.
No, you can't. Listen, your little brother doesn't punch you in the gut over and over without some sort of hot blood boiling
That's
up
true.
inside your brain.
Like straining against my dad's iron grip as hard as
Right.
I could.
Right. A man so strong, no one could ever escape his grip.
I don't know. It's tough. We had our first kid in 2010,
2011.
2011.
Well, it was right after the New Year's.
It was 2011. So,
That's
when
right.
did the
She
first
was there.
iPad come out? 2010?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I remember we had an iPad 2 when Olivia was little. And iPads were new to us as it was to her. And it was so cool that a little kid could use a tablet. And now
Yeah.
here we are 10 years later, and it's like, wow, I
it.
wish I had waited a little while to introduce
Yeah.
electronics to my kids. But at the time,
Yeah.
it was I don't know, cool, here's a show, here's whatever.
Yeah.
And
Well, and
How to
you're,
try to
you're
go back
excited
and-
to see. You're excited to see them succeed at something, right? So an
Yeah.
iPad or a
Yeah.
tablet or a touchscreen, to which they understand intuitively. Get it, do it.
Well,
you
and
know,
share-
I felt like
like-
I had to teach my kids how to use a mouse. Here's a
Yeah, that's
laptop
true.
and a keyboard,
Yeah.
because I don't think this is going away too soon.
No,
Right.
but
Figure this out.
We did, or I did, I guess. When we went to cabins in the summer, I made a cabin book. Kind of
Yeah.
not like a photo,
Cool.
like one you order and make the actual book with the pictures.
Mhm.
And I feel like the kids remember parts of the cabin from
Yes.
the book. They
Yes.
obviously don't.
Oh, I know I
and
do.
so,
Yeah.
okay, it helps your memory too. But I feel like having kids, maybe after certain times of the year or seasons or whatever, they get to make a book, but they get to choose the photos. They'll probably pick ones that are you totally wouldn't pick because it's not the perfect
Yeah.
photo or whatever. But when they look back at it, they'll probably be like, yeah, I picked it because that was my favorite
It's not about the
red
picture.
T-shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of a good way to
I
be
agree.
we have all these books from each year or whatever.
You're so
Most-
right, though. The
Yeah.
pictures or physical media, it doesn't have to be physical. Physical helps, I think.
I think
But,
physical goes a
Yeah.
long way to remembering it.
I probably have 30,000 photos
we
on
were
my
a big-
computer, but
My thing was always VHS or print photos, right?
Mhm.
It was print photos on vacation, and then VHS was Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving and that sort
Yeah.
of thing. And we would watch. They were called Mom 1, Mom 2, Mom 3. That was all the labeling my father did. There's 30 of them. You watch these tapes, and it was well, which one had the Rob's 6th birthday on it? Oh, it's Mom 8. So you got to pull that out because that's when Roscoe the Clown came.
oh my
And
gosh.
he pulled a carrot out of Libby's ear and she barfed because she had too much candy. Or, those sort of weird. I think
it's
there's
those
a
weird
big. You're absolutely right. They will attach memories to whatever photos and videos you have. So let them pick that out. But I
Yeah.
think physically having it,
Yeah.
paging through pictures and watching, I suppose now you would just put them on YouTube under your own
Yeah.
private thing, because we
Yeah, I
don't
guess
have a
you could have
DVD
your
player.
own private.
I don't have
yeah.
anything to play
You don't have a
media
NAS?
on.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Your Flex server or whatever.
No, my Flex server's down temporarily, but I think having it physically, I mean, that was a big part of, gosh,
Yeah.
even, this is weird. Favorite Christmas movie, National Lampoon's. He gets trapped in the attic. He finds the physical tape and he watches the old tapes. And,
Yeah.
like, has a meltdown. Get that physical stuff. Print it.
Yeah. I feel like, print it or make a book or
The
album or something.
Emily has made summer cabin books every time we've done a summer cabin. I love those
Awesome.
books.
Yeah.
And I remember the books help me remember. You're absolutely right.
Right.
And I do, as a kid, remember the things almost through pictures
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
anything else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have memories, but then it's like it either ties back to a particular picture, like earlier in that day, or here's the picture of me doing it. Now, oh yeah, now I remember. And print that stuff. Print it. Even if you do old school, like here's a 30-pound box
Man, those are
of
great.
3x5s. Go to
Yeah,
town.
let's take a look
Yeah.
at these.
Those are so much fun.
Right.
That is fun. That's a
It's-
ton of fun.
It's even like college has gotten that way. Like my college memories are the pictures on Facebook. Like those are the like
Yeah.
high.
Should
you
print
know, like,
those
me
before
as
it's too
Jack
late.
Frost.
Yeah.
God.
I don't
God,
remember
we were
anything about that
scary.
Halloween
Doing a
party
wheelie.
except the pictures of me as Jack Frost doing a wheelie in a wheelchair.
And I just remember thinking, wow, this guy's a huge douchebag. Who is this guy?
Doing
I don't
a
think
wheelie
we
in a
knew.
wheelchair.
We
a
probably
wheelie.
knew each other then, but it was early on, and I thought, what's this guy's deal? What is he? Who played Jack Frost? And
Cut your hair. That's probably
No,
what you
who-
who, were thinking. Who's this guy with this
No,
curly afro?
hey, I have never had anything against your hair. Who played Jack Frost? Martin
Short.
I thought, what
Really?
is this 6'2"
yes.
man doing, trying to play Martin Short as Jack Frost?
Why is he doing a wheelie in that wheelchair? He seems like the kind of guy who would do wheelies in a
He does seem like a wheelie
He
guy.
seems like a wheelie, guy. I forgot. I had a bunch of TV I watched, but I'll save it for next time.
We'll talk about it next time.
Next time.
You know what, Em? I think that brings us to the close then of this episode of the Date Night Dice podcast. As always, we love feedback here, so reach out to us, talk to us on Instagram, comment on the podcast posts, send us DMs, send us an email, benmdatenightdice@gmail.com. If you want to talk to Ken, we'll forward it his way. Otherwise, look up at Pizza That's Too Hot to Eat on Instagram.
Oh.
At Pizza That Is Too Hot to Eat.
Pizza
Just
That
spell
Is
the
Too
whole-
Hot to
Pizza
Eat.
That Is Too Hot to Eat. Spell just all the way out.
My favorite Instagram account.
There's nothing on there. We'll be bored.
We are proud members of the Gateway Gaming Network.
You should stop because I have to cut this every time because you say the wrong thing. Every time.
I think
you
it's
give-
just the Gateway Network, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
And you always give the wrong emails, the wrong websites.
We should leave that part up to you. You talk
Send
about the
a
email.
message to Brian and Jamily.
Yeah, right.
All right. From everybody here at the Date Night Dice Studios, I'm Ben.
I'm
I'm Ken.
Good night, everybody.